The FBI raided the home of Jake Paul. And I said when I heard the news, wow, I couldn't care any less upon hearing this. In fact, I'm actually quite angry somebody would tell me that. And then after I got really angry and calmed down, I said, but hold on a second. Why did they raid his house? And it turns out because of his participation in the George Floyd riots, in which case...
Cross state lines.
He crossed state lines. He lives in LA. He went to Arizona, committed a crime, got arrested for it. And then I started saying, whoa, 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 whoa. They raided his mansion, found a bunch of rifles. Apparently the dude owes millions of dollars in back taxes,
Yikes.
but that's a whole other issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't really muster any kind of emotion at all for Jake Paul. And I mean that actually with a bit of respect. I don't care about what he does. And I think it's silly how they really want to make everything about his life a drama. But there is something here that's actually really significant. I think they're making an example of him.
Yeah, I think so too.
You're
right.
we were talking about this the other day with the hearings, in the Senate over Antifa and the far left. And Jake Paul is probably the highest profile individual person who was involved in the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd rioting. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Like, you got to see these photos. We're going to show these photos, man. You are going to be like, what? These crazy, like, armored personnel carriers, like these dudes coming in full tactical gear camo. And I'm like, man, they really wanted to make sure everybody knew they did this.
Mm-hmm.
They found a bunch of rifles too. That's what's crazy. But I think that's it. I think this is the DOJ saying straight up, who's the biggest fish we can fry? And they're like, Jake Paul. And he was like, send in the troops.
That's the biggest fish that they can fry, though? Really?
In the rioting? Think about it.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
If you want to
Who was actually out there?
It's sending a message, making sure everybody knows you riot, we come to your house, and you get arrested. And everyone's going to know about it now. So we'll read this and see what's up. Apparently, they actually raided some other big YouTuber's house as well who was involved in the rieting.
I didn't know who he was before.
Me neither.
Before he got arrested. And you were like, this guy got arrested. I was like, who's this guy? I don't know who he is.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was either.
I didn't either.
Didn't. Yeah. No, I was chilling. And then I heard, someone messaged me on Facebook. They're like, yo, they're raiding Jake Paul's house. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you text me this? And then I was like, no, wait. Why are they raiding his house?
He has 20 million subscribers.
I actually thought at first it was because he keeps throwing these parties.
Yeah.
And like everything's locked down.
Well, they had a helicopter on his house yesterday. Like, how dare he have a party? And it's clear that they were kind of alluding to something bigger that we're going to get into. Because why would they even...
Oh, you mean like him getting arrested?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the same thing, but I think it was. I don't know. I'm going to check that out.
I'm wondering if these rifles they pulled out are real or fake.
Good point.
So when he got arrested earlier because of his involvement in these riots, a lot of people thought he hired a fake cop to arrest him because he's a shot content YouTube vlogger or whatever.
Okay.
No, he actually got arrested. And the crazy thing is the city of, I think it was Scottsdale, dropped the charges and they said, so the feds can investigate.
Oh.
And that's when it's like, whoa. Yeah, he crossed state lines. I'm not saying that's the exact reason, but this is interesting nonetheless. So we also got a couple other stories. Hopefully we'll get to them. But the other one is New York is now setting up COVID checkpoints at the borders. This to me is nuts.
On the borders of New York?
On the borders
like the
of
state?
No, the city.
Of the city.
I mean, I don't know about the whole state because, what are you going to do? I mean, you could drive through a dirt road or something.
Yeah.
But New York City on the bridges and tunnels.
Oh, my God.
They're going to, listen, man, for those of you that don't understand New York, getting through the Lincoln Tunnel is already a nightmare where it takes you, years. I'll tell you what. Driving from South Jersey up to New York City, okay, let's say it's a 2-hour trip. And it's because it's actually only an hour drive to get to New York. And then going through the tunnel into Manhattan is another hour. I kid you not. Now they're adding checkpoints where they're going to be stopping and I guess doing temperature checks or something. And then they're going to give everyone a 2-week mandatory quarantine.
Wow.
Now, here's why it's funny. It's kind of messed up all this is going on, but it's funny because Cuomo is simultaneously begging rich people to come back. It's literally his worst fear. I mean, he said a year ago, God help us if the rich leave. Now they've left. Now he's begging them to come back. But who in their right mind would come back only to go through a checkpoint and then be locked up in a crappy little apartment for 2 weeks?
Right, exactly.
Well, I guess if you're rich, you'll be locked up in your penthouse for 2 weeks, but still, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm in the Hamptons or I'm in Connecticut. I got a nice little house up by the, on the East Coast. I'm not coming back. So we'll talk about all that stuff too. And then we've got some other stories we might get to. I'll save those for if we get to them. But we got some other stories, and maybe I should mention right now, or should I?
I mean, no, let's just, whatever. Just dig into it.
Sargon of Akkad. You know him, you love him. He won his request for legal fees. So it's a long and complicated story, but it's now seemingly getting way more intense. So long story short, and we'll go through all of this. We got the article from Bloomberg Law. Sargon, if you're not familiar with his channel, he is considered. I think it was Eric Weinstein or maybe Brett who called him the poor man's intellectual, or I'm sorry, the working class intellectual.
That seems fair.
Yeah. No, it was meant to be respectful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so he uploaded a video to YouTube. He got sued by a leftist for copyright infringement. He won. Then he sued back for attorney's fees.
Right.
He won that. And now the person he sued is just going off on Twitter like in a total unhinged, crazy.
Sounds like something someone on the left would do.
Yeah, the crazy thing is it now seems like she's trying to get him banned from like every platform, desperately reaching out to anyone who works at any of these companies to terminate all his financial contracts, which is
so messed up.
Which is brazen it's libelous and it's tortious interference.
Yeah.
So this is like, the reason I bring this story up, because a lot of people might not know or care who these people are, but this could escalate into some kind of weird internet culture war, full-scale conflict of sorts. Because, I mean, the level to which she is trying to completely eviscerate Sargon after he won this case.
A cancel conflict war.
It is. It's like cancel culture, it's crazy. But he won about $40,000. It's like 38 something.
Wow.
She's got 30 days to pay. So this was a crazy, I call it justice, man. If you really look at the details of the case, it is so insane what these leftists think they can get away with.
Wow.
She was going on Twitter and she was saying things like, I'm going to bankrupt him. It's going to be hilarious. It's a Christmas present or something like that. And that's why I ended up winning. The judge even said, this is crazy, get this, and we will go through this, but I'm really excited. I'm like, this story is nuts. The judge said that normally determining improper motive in a lawsuit is very difficult, because people hide their true motivations behind, legal framework. Right. However, in this case, she announced all of her motivations were completely improper on Twitter to her followers and was very obviously trying to enrich herself or something like that. I gotta be very careful, but it was something on the lines of seeking secondary income through publicizing the lawsuit.
Wow.
Like totally crazy stuff. So we'll get to this.
She screwed herself.
Yeah, and wow. I think it may be a bit too esoteric, but this has a lot to do with censorship, free speech, and it is a tactic of the left to get their rivals banned. In this instance, I think this story is very important and worth talking about, to the average person, simply because she lost a lawsuit. The judge ruled, hey, fair and square, this is what happened, and now she is trying to contact people at YouTube and PayPal and a bunch of other companies to sever contracts with him. It would seem, but she is asking, does anybody know people at these companies? At PayPal, at GoFundMe. Here's an email I sent to YouTube. This is how the left gets away after they lose their lawsuits. They use nefarious and subversive tactics to force these companies to do their bidding.
Wow.
She's out for revenge, man. And I think ultimately it can be really, really bad. She needs someone, this is Akila, she needs someone who knows her to tell her, just stop doing this, because it can result in her going to jail in the long run.
Seems like it, yeah.
I mean, there's still a few steps before it gets to that point, but I've already been through this, talking with lawyers and legal reps that I had to deal with, last year. And everything she's doing is it's bordering on the intense, like when a judge tells you, you have to pay this, you were wrong, and then you go off on this tirade saying, vote these people out, I want to go after them. You're getting dangerously close to dangerously close to illegal activity. For now, it seems like she's really spitting on the courts.
Yep.
It's going to come back in, injunctions or something. But we'll get to this. I don't want to hash out the whole story just now. We'll talk about this later. Clearly, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
But we definitely got to talk about what's going on with the FBI raiding Jake Paul, because I think it's setting an example.
Well, before we get into that,
yes,
you should smash that like button, but not for me. Nay, not for me.
Nay.
Not for Tim either.
No.
There's only one person you should be smashing for today, and it happens to be her birthday.
Oh.
Hey, Lydia.
Yeah?
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Adam.
Happy birthday,
I appreciate that.
So everyone better be smashing that like button, because it's Lydia's birthday.
That's right. It's my gift.
And that's the only reason you should be smashing the like button. I mean, I do happen to have a certain red beanie here for later, just in case we hit 30K. But come on, hit her up, bombard her on Twitter with happy birthdays. And what else are you on? Everything, right?
Yeah, I'm on everything.
Parlor,
and stuff.
everything.
Yeah.
Hit her up. Wish her happy birthday. It's her birthday today.
Yeah, thanks,
Lydia
guys.
is in fact 37 today.
Oh, yeah?
37 years old.
Oh, I am. Yes.
Yes, 30.
I didn't know
37. I'm kidding. She's not 37.
that. Not even close.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
No, maybe 11.
Not even close to that either.
What?
No.
I don't know how old you
Oh
are.
my gosh. My employer doesn't know how old I am.
Maybe that's for the best.
It's for the best.
I'm not.
For the record, you don't look 37.
Thank you. I appreciate
Jeez,
that.
Tim.
Look at the happy birthdays lighting up. I was trying to pick an age where people might be like, no way, really?
Yeah.
Is that
37's
what?
not right, and 11's not right.
It just jumped to like
No, I said 11 years
4,000
too
likes.
much.
Yeah, 11 years too much. Okay.
5,000 likes. That is what I'm talking
Thanks,
about,
guys.
everybody.
That's
Whoa,
a wonderful gift.
Those are for
Happy
you. Those are for
birthday.
you.
Appreciate
Wow.
that.
So, all right.
That's awesome.
Chat is
We may
lighting up.
continue on now that
Thanks,
I
Adam.
just wanted to put that on the air. You know,
Thanks, everyone.
good energy.
You know what we did today to celebrate?
Oh, I know. Go ahead.
Special order from Chicago.
Well, me and Tim are both very fond of our Chicago roots. And
So-
was it Portillo's? Wait,
Portillo's.
Portillo's. My goodness.
Polish sausage and Italian beef, special ordered overnight.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it
Very
is
good.
I can say a word and people are going to be like, "What's that jardinera?"
Oh man, the best.
I've-
the best jardinere ever.
But no, it's not about the best ever. It's that nobody knows what it is.
I guess
had
that's
it.
true. No, I mean I've lived across everywhere. The problem is it sucks. It always is terrible.
Yeah.
Like with that stuff though, that's real. That's like
I tried it
it's
then.
delicious. It's spicy. Oh man,
It's for those that
it's
don't know,
good.
it's like a mix of what's like carrots, jalapenos, celery, cauliflower, and it's pickled.
Yep.
Pickled crunchy vegetables.
Spicy.
Pickled crunchy vegetables,
Hot
spicy.
peppers. Oh my god.
Yeah, and you put it on beef and you put it on bread, and then they take the whole sandwich with tongs and they dunk it in gravy and hold it for a second and then
Yep.
pull it out, and the whole thing's a soggy mess.
It's very good.
it's a Chicago specialty.
Turns out.
Yep. And
So
with
we got-
all the fixins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Man, it was good. Brought me back.
Well, now that you know about our celebrating
Okay.
and all that stuff, let's talk about the FBI laying the smackdown.
All right, let's do it.
Well,
Yeah.
and everybody did smash the like button, so I don't think it
Yeah,
should be
much
said.
appreciated.
Plenty of smashing.
But do subscribe.
I'm proud.
Subscribe for Lydia's birthday.
I'm very grateful.
I'm gonna
share.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
You
the
must
first rule of IRL Club. You have
You
to
must-
tell everyone about it.
you must share for Lydia's birthday.
That's
Yeah,
I'm gonna use
But more
that.
importantly,
Use it.
because it's her birthday, you must share.
Yes.
Share this video. Actually, I didn't share it yet.
All right, let's
I'm gonna
read-
go ahead and
let's-
share it.
Sharing
Let's
is
read
caring.
this here news.
All right, we're reading.
Check it out. We got the story from the Daily Mail. Multiple high-powered weapons are seized at YouTube star Jake Paul's $6.9 million Calabasas mansion after FBI agents riding in military trucks swarmed the property in connection to his arrest for Arizona mall riots, as his collaborator's Vegas home is also raided. I just got to show you these photos because that's the gist of it, right? Check this out. First, let me read. They say a second FBI raid was also conducted at a separate property belonging to fellow social media personality and friend of Paul, Armani Izzati, in Las Vegas. The outlet said Izzati was also arrested during the looting in Arizona. In June, Paul was charged with criminal trespass and unlawful assembly by authorities in Scottsdale, Arizona, who say they were sent hundreds of tips claiming Paul was a participant in the riot. The case against both Paul and Izzati was later dropped by the city attorney ahead of Wednesday's raid by the FBI. In a statement, the Scottsdale Police Department said, "It is in the best interest of the community to dismiss misdemeanor charges without prejudice so that a federal criminal investigation can be completed. Scottsdale retains the option to refile charges depending on the outcome of the federal investigation." Check this out. Look at this. It looks like he's got two right there. He's got one right there. He's got another right here. Now, I'm interested. Why would they seize these? They didn't arrest anybody, apparently.
Well, and let me just get that straight. So if they don't federally charge him, does that mean Scottsdale can actually charge him? So they just dropped it because the feds came in and like, we're actually going to be charging him.
They're stepping out of the
They're
way.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you right off the bat, for those just popping in, I'll tell you what I think. I think this is the DOJ. Donald Trump said, "We're coming after you. We're coming after you." 10 years for vandalizing statues and federal property.
10 years.
Now hold on. Jake Paul's not going to get 10 years. He was trespassing and seen, in these riots. But it seems like law and order works.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out, man. There was a poll from Gallup that was released today. And do you know what it said?
What?
81% of black Americans want the same level of policing in their neighborhoods or more.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the number is actually 61% want the same level of policing. They're satisfied. And it's actually interesting among the Latino community, the Hispanic community is even more satisfied. But across the board, the overwhelming majority of Americans are satisfied with the amount of time police spend patrolling their neighborhoods. In fact, 20% of black Americans want to see more time spent policing their neighborhoods. 19% want to see less. But that means we've got a massive number of people who do not agree with this defund narrative, with this abolish narrative, or with these protests, the riots. Sorry, man, they are not popular. So I'll tell you what happens. Donald Trump, he says, we're coming for you. Did you hear what he said earlier this morning on Fox?
No, I didn't catch that.
He said Black Lives Matter is a Marxist group,
which they've admitted.
Well, they're
openly.
A lot of the higher high profile activist leaders are definitely far left. But Trump said they're a Marxist group, and if I'm wrong, I'll lose an election. That's what he said. He's laid his cards right on the table. That's why this story about Jake Paul, it rung a bell or like a light bulb popped up when I heard it, because they said it was connected to the riots, and I'm thinking, here's what happens. The dude travels across state lines with some other buddy who crossed other state lines, Nevada. They go and riot. And now here's what I think. I think the DOJ was trying to figure out, how can we make sure everybody knows that if you do this, you're going to get locked up? Well, you go after the highest profile person, guarantee that all the news is going to be like, whoa, what's going on with this guy, Jake Paul? He's very famous, got 20 million subs. Now he's getting his home raided. And we see these photos of rifles. Now here's something I'm curious about. Why are they seizing these rifles?
I don't know.
Is it because he can't have them while charges are pending? Is it because he couldn't legally have them in the first place? They didn't arrest him. But
they didn't arrest him?
No, but they came and raided his home and they seized a bunch of guns. Could these guns be fake?
Did they take him across state lines, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they saw him in a video because these guys are too brazen. But I'm curious for two reasons. I don't like the idea of the state coming in and seizing people's property.
That's not the state. That's the feds.
The feds.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Step up.
I should clarify. I mean the colloquial definition of the state, as the state authority.
I see what you mean, yeah.
As like the full country. Yeah, so these are feds coming in and taking his guns. Now that, I'm like, okay. I mean, we know he was rioting, so this is not the McCloskeys, right? The McCloskeys came out, were eating dinner and defending their property in St. Louis. And the cops came and took their guns. That immediately made me angry. Like, whoa.
Right.
This is different. This is a dude who, I mean, I don't even know what this is. I wonder how many people watching can identify these weapons that are seen laying around. It says footage shows what appeared to be a high-powered rifle resting against the star's hot tub in the backyard that appears in many of his recent YouTube videos.
I mean, that could be an air rifle for all we know.
It could be a prop.
I've seen air rifles that look like that also.
But he's a YouTuber. These could be props.
Also true, yeah.
But if they were, why would they seize them?
Mm-hmm.
I think dude had guns. I'm curious about the gun laws in California, because in Calabasas, my understanding is California is fairly strict, but
yeah, I don't know anything
these are long guns, so it might not be a big deal.
Yeah, it looks like a shotgun.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a shotgun.
A couple shotguns.
This actually, I can't tell what these are. I bet people watching can probably spot them instantly and know what they are, but they seized a bunch of weapons.
Yeah.
But check this out. Look at these guys, man, in full, look at this gear.
Whoa.
This is them going to his house. We know that.
I mean, yeah, that's what it says. Look,
Yeah, wow.
Several federal agents dressed in tactical gear arrived in armored vehicles after serving the YouTube star with a search warrant.
Wow.
Bro, you riot. They're going to come and lock you up. And I think I'm not a fan of using the law to make examples of people, because I think the law should be applied equally. These I really, really don't like it when, judges are like, well, to make sure no one ever commits a crime, we're going to give you 1 million years or some nonsense.
Doesn't seem fair.
But I think they don't need to do that. They just need to charge him federally, and he'll get a slap on the wrist to whatever degree, but everyone will know. So they don't need to do anything harsh.
Now I see this this thing going around, like Antifa and BLM protesters. No, they're straight up rioters. They're posting these videos and pictures saying, "Please stop filming us. Please stop taking pictures of us. We're getting arrested now. So please stop filming what we're doing." It's like, no, people are going to film you. This is the information era. Everyone has a phone. They can just hit you up, take a video.
This is why they attack people.
Yeah, you're right.
This is why they go after Andy Ngo.
Mm-hmm.
Because Andy aggregates information on their activities, and they're trying to suppress him. The amazing thing is how they, The amazing thing, for those not familiar with Andy, no, he's like, in my opinion, the foremost expert on the far left extremism, especially in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
So they call him a white supremacist, even though he's a child of immigrants and he's gay and a minority. It's like,
and now he's testified multiple times in front of like Congress, twice in the past month, I think,
I gotta say, man,
he's the forerunner on what they're doing. He's from Portland. He's watched it happen around him as he grew up there.
He's so brave.
So they basically just go on and talk about, basically the same stuff we already know, that he got raided and he was connected to, the riots. So again, simply put, I think they're making an example of him, but we'll see. They say in one shot from the scene in LA, a long-barreled gun was spotted in the backyard resting against a hot tub. So you get it. But the FBI announced during that testimony that they have 300 domestic terror investigations as a result of riots. Attorney tells Capitol hearing on Antifa. And now here's a quick little update as well. Multiple fires reported in downtown Portland parking garages last night.
Of course.
So listen, last night was particularly crazy.
Yeah, I saw some crazy stuff going down last week.
Stabbing the tires of that guy's car, and then he speeds through and runs like
and breaking the windshield. Like they were were coming after that guy.
So,
don't finish. Someone actually parked a motorbike in front of this truck, so he couldn't go anywhere. He was coming to a stop. He was just driving down the street. They all kind of bombarded him, and some dude got in front of him with a mini bike and dropped it down so he couldn't go anywhere. And then they started beating the car, breaking the windshield, and he just took off. And you just see sparks flying because it was like a motorcycle. It wasn't. Yeah. It was a dirt bike. That's what it was. And he just dragged it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Man, I
don't blame him at all.
I see all this stuff. I see this poll from Gallup, right?
Mm-hmm.
81% of black Americans do not agree with defund the police. They actually, 20% want more cops. Then there's another study that came out that says, you know how in 2016, in the 2015-16 cycle, journalists got it all wrong? They stories were wrong. They were mocking Trump. They gave him a really low chance of winning. And then after Trump won, they were all like, what did we get wrong? We don't understand. A new study came out that mapped journalists on Twitter, published by, it was Illinois, I think Urbana-Champaign.
Okay.
And they found that it's worse. It's worse.
Well, that's not surprising to me.
It is surprising to me.
Really?
Yeah, because you'd think, check it out. In 2016, they got everything wrong.
Okay.
Then last year, when I was talking to Jack Dorsey, he said the same problem. Journalists on Twitter only follow leftists, liberal journalists only follow each other. Conservatives follow both. But it's getting better, he said. Well, Jack, you were wrong.
Wait, hold on. So you believed Jack?
I did.
Okay. All right.
I mean, look, I
you want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
It's not that, but what's the benefit of him lying about journalists getting things right or wrong?
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't know.
Anyway, here's the point. Multiple fires reported in downtown Portland parking garages. And here's my favorite bit. They say it's unclear what, if any, connections the fires had to each other or to protests that have taken place at the nearby Justice Center and federal courthouses for many nights.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You got riots going on downtown for 70 days. It's like 69 days was last night. Tonight's 70. And then fires are started in multiple buildings just near. It's insane to me.
No connection.
Yeah.
Like,
but anyway,
come on.
Here's the ultimate point. I'm bringing this up, is that we've got these journalists in the Beltway in DC who are actually in smaller bubbles this time than they were last time, which means all the news you're hearing, when you turn on CNN and Brian Stelter is like, it sounds like he's talking to the 7 people who still believe him. And you're like, huh. And you can't imagine why they're getting it wrong. I think people have broken out of this. One of the ways I've described it in the past is that you have this whirlpool of fake news where all the journalists are talking to each other. And as you get closer to the center, it's spinning faster and faster because they're sharing the same recycled story and it's getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
And regular people are caught in that as well. But as it spins faster from more and more fake news, regular people get thrown out.
I'm one of them.
Exactly.
I was tossed out and I looked and I'm like, whoa, I'm never jumping in that whirlpool again.
You know what the gravitron is?
Yeah.
That ride?
Where it slides up as you're spinning.
It's spinning and then you get stuck to the wall.
Yeah, those are fun.
And there have been, instances where people have been ejected from them because it's spinning really fast. Because there's some that are like closed, and there are some that are open.
Okay.
And yeah, it spins so fast it breaks, and then you could get launched out if it's spinning. Or actually, here's a better example. You ever see the video where the kids are on the what's that thing called? It's the wheel. It's like at a playground.
And then it goes. Oh, the merry-go-round. Oh no, the centrifugal force one where it's small.
And you stand on it and you push.
What is?
I don't know what it's called either. But
anyway,
you don't see those anymore, man. That's back from when we were kids.
But there's a video you can watch this. They put a mini bike wheel, lay it down,
okay,
and then they got 3 guys holding on, and they speed the bike up, and then one dude, he like gets thrown backwards and is like flailing, and then gets launched straight out.
Okay,
that's what's happening to people every day, because the fake news is getting crazier and crazier. We're at a point now where we can literally see Jake Paul rioting, and people are like, I know who that guy is. Dude, he's rioting. And then you have all this violence going on, and then they come to you and they go, there are no riots. Antifa doesn't exist. Nobody riot. Peaceful protests.
No war.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Mm-hmm. I love that meme. So how is it that these people have become so inept? It's because they follow each other. So this study found that the biggest cluster of journalists are these DC politicos who are writing these stories for mainstream news about what Trump is doing, about who's going to win, about the polls. And it turns out, it's like, here's the way I describe it. One journalist goes, Journalist Adams, sir, you say Trump is going to lose. Interesting. I'm going to write.
Whoa. If you're
hypothetically.
Even in the hypothetical, I would say he'd win.
No. The point is, you've got 2 journalists. And
Okay.
I go, I think Trump is going to lose. And then I publish the story. Then you pick it up and go, whoa, Trump is going to lose. And then you write a story. Trump is going to lose. And then I go, whoa, you think Trump is going to lose? Wow, Trump is really going to lose. And then you're like, whoa, you think it's that bad? It must be worse than he realizes.
Trump is
and
done.
It's an endless cycle where these people don't listen to anyone but themselves.
Yep.
And regular people are sitting here. And all of a sudden you see a video where there's fire. You hear a story. Fires erupted in multiple buildings in downtown Portland. We don't know if that's at all connected to the riots that were happening literally in the same spot.
You know what it sounds like? A bunch of jerks in a circle.
That's right. They're in a
all
circle.
patting each
They're
other on the back.
Spinning around and patting each other
you
on the
can
back.
rearrange the words a little bit to get a little more accurate depiction of what I really would like to say.
Yeah.
You get the
They're
idea.
definitely jerks.
I've been watching this stuff, and there's something else that happened too that leads me to think I'm back on the track where I think Trump is going to win.
There we go.
You know why?
I mean, I know why I think so, but why do you think so?
I think first when I read that this study came out, and maybe it's one study, right, saying that the journalists are all following each other.
Yeah.
Worse than it was in 2016. They said their bubble has become micro bubbles, where now they're just talking to smaller groups, and I'm like, wow, everything these people are saying must be just out of it. Like they're just so out of touch, and it's true. And so I wondered why it is that you can have the New York Post reported this today. 25% of Brooklyn mail-in ballots disqualified.
Wow, really?
Yeah, no postmark. Okay, so we know there's massive voter disenfranchisement. And the Washington Post wrote on May 21st, mail-in ballots are less likely to be counted, predominantly affecting first-time voters, youth voters, and minority voters. I'm like, okay, so they reported these things. We also have Paterson, New Jersey. Then how is it that these Beltway reporters keep saying Trump said without evidence, voter fraud, voter inaccuracies, because they don't read the news?
Yeah, they just listen to each other talk.
They'll go like this. It'll be like, hey, Adam, did you hear anything about voter fraud? No? Me neither. There's no voter fraud. Then you're like, hey, Tim, did you hear about voter fraud? I didn't. Not from you, at least. Okay, no voter fraud.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like two
I've
people?
been confirmed. No voter fraud. It's like, well, all right.
I asked my friends. I mean, who's a better expert than you? You're a reporter in D.C., and if you think it's not happening, it must be true.
Wow.
This is why I didn't understand.
I don't want to laugh.
But you know what's crazy to me is how can a publication like the New York Times, the Washington Post, literally put out an article that says, the New York Times puts out an article. The article says, 6 weeks on, still no winner declared, mail-in voting disaster. And then you have Ben Smith write an article saying Trump falsely claims mail-in voter fraud is busted. And I'm like, you work at the New York Times. Look, I like Ben Smith. I think he does a really great job. But you work at the New York Times. Is there no editor to be like, Ben, actually, we have this story we just ran talking about voter problems from mail-in voting.Maybe you should remove the word falsely.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I'm not convinced they talk to each other at all.
So I see these videos, right? The hearing. So there's a bunch of other factors, right? You have that. Have you noticed that Joe Biden isn't campaigning?
Yeah, I mean, he just makes his random appearances, and every time it's comedy gold. I gotta give him credit for where credit's due. He's a funny guy. Now he's not trying to be funny.
It's sad funny though.
I know. Yes. I mean, but he doesn't have to be doing this. Like, I don't feel bad for him because he can stop. You can go home. You can retire, man. You're clearly old. Maybe you should retire because every time you open your mouth, he even says, man, maybe I should just stop talking.
First of all,
Like,
one of the
what?
stupidest things he could have said is, I get tested all the time. I get tested all the time. And you're like, you get tested for cognitive deficiencies all the time? That's worrying.
But then he says, I've never taken that test.
Yeah, that's what happened today.
Wait, what?
I've never been tested. And then he goes, come on, man. How you going to ask me that? Are you a junkie?
Well, no, he's like, that's like me saying that you've been doing cocaine before the show. What are you, a junkie? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's a step further.
And the funny thing is a bunch of leftists got really mad because they said it was racist because the anchor who was talking to him was black.
Okay.
For him to come out and ask him about doing drugs and stuff.
Oh.
I think that's classic of the
Well,
left.
as long as he's voting for Biden, then he's safe, right? Isn't that?
That's right.
Isn't that how it
According
is?
to Biden.
Yep.
According to Biden.
That's all you have to do.
So anyway,
Comedy gold.
I see this as another reason why I think Joe Biden can't win. He's not campaigning.
You're right.
There was a story from Politico that said Trump's campaign is knocking on $1 million per week.
Wow.
Biden's is knocking on 0. Now maybe that number from Trump is not true, but I do think it's entirely possible. They didn't say they're talking to that many people. They're knocking on that many doors.
Do you think he's just like playing cards in his basement with Hunter? They're just like playing blackjack. Like, well, hit me.
I genuinely believe this, right? A lot of people have talked about how Joe Biden's cognitive decline has been accelerating.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Well, so when he was doing the debates and stuff early on, he was slurring more and more, he was gaffing more and more, and the media kept trying to defend him. One of the things the media does for Biden, which is absolutely incredible, I love it. It warms my heart, is they fix his sentences for him.
Oh, that happened today. CNN posted, a thing about it, and there was no. He said, what did he say? He was like, people will see my mental fortitude. It's like, we are seeing that you don't have it right now.
He was like, I'll let the people decide about my physical and mental fitness. And then everybody was like, yikes, dude.
Yikes.
Here's what I think.
You're trying to prove to us that you're mentally fit. You're not doing a good job, Biden.
You know why they're hiding him in the basement? It's like he has less and less
because he's
time throughout the day.
He's probably going to be arrested soon.
No. It's that as his cognitive decline worsens, he has less time throughout the day that he can actually function properly.
That's a good point.
So they'll time, his sleep schedule. No, but this is real. People were talking about this during the debates about what is it called, like sundowning?
Yeah, sundowning is when in the evening people get really confused, disoriented. They get angry and aggressive, and their symptoms can get way worse. Said it a lot.
So you have Joe Biden, and you got to do a lot of late night programs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Has he been doing late night debates, or have they been early morning?
Well, he's ready to sit down with or stand with the president. He said that.
He had to because he knew that they would go after him for being frail, for sitting down.
Yeah.
Here's what I think is happening. Again, this is all in line with why I think Trump is on track to win. Outside of the fact that the data's all wrong, is that or they're going to swap him out, which
That's what I said. That's what I think.
They actually said this. Someone from the DNC said this to
really?
Bill. What's his name? Bill Hemmer.
Bill Hemmer, yeah.
Bill Hemmer on Fox News. Yeah, and it was like a big.
When was this?
Months ago.
Oh wow.
And it was a flub, and a lot of people were like, "Did they actually just say that?" What she said was, "We need to have the DNC because we are not officially nominating Joe Biden to defeat Donald Trump." And then people were like, "Wait, hold on. Are you saying you are not nominating him just to beat Trump, or are you saying you're not nominating him to go up against Trump?"
Oh man.
Yep. And people have been saying Cuomo over and over again. So Cuomo was like, "No, I'm not going to do it," but they seem desperate.
He's got a lot of blood on his hands.
Oh yeah, dude. But listen, here's what I think. I think Joe Biden's probably sleeping 20 hours a day.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. He's and then he probably wakes up in the morning and he's got only a few hours of lucidity.
Pop a couple uppers.
I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm being serious.
I wasn't trying to be funny either.
Yeah.
I was actually being serious also.
Because even like we talked about this before when he did this commercial that was on YouTube, people were mentioning like, oh, I got a Joe Biden commercial on your video, and he gaffes in it. And it's like, how does that happen? It's because he did 20 takes and he could not do it. And so they were like, this is the best one we have. Just use it. So I'll tell you what, man. You've got videos coming out where Antifa is literally slashing people's tires.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, these leftists don't want to believe it when I say people I know who have been lifelong Democrats are telling me they're voting for Trump. They hate the Republicans, but the Republicans have to win. And I'm like, yikes. I don't care if they're Republicans, you know. But when it's come to this point, you have your choice between someone you don't like who still represents America and whatever that other disastrous mess is.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So again, about Joe Biden, I think he probably wakes up, you know, early in the morning, and they're like, okay, we got a couple hours before he starts going out of his mind. You know, what shows can we get him on?
Yeah.
And then they got to adjust his sleep schedule. So he's probably sitting in his wheelchair with a blanket on the lap in the sun, just, you know, snoring. And they're like, we have to wake him up. We have only 2 hours to do all of these hits before he starts going out of it again.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean.
That's sad.
I mean it. You know,
that's why.
Seriously.
That's why I think they're going to swap him out. They're not even holding the DNC at all. The convention.
No, well, virtually.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. So no one can riot.
Yeah.
When they switch him out,
they were
I'm dead
for
serious. Sure. That's the plan. They're like, you know what? His cognitive decline. We all know he's clearly losing it. So we're going to swap him out as like some good faith thing. And it's like, yeah, but that's the plan all along. It's so obvious to me.
Maybe.
I think so.
But listen, they're not campaigning
because he's not going to be
even
the one
for the
running.
Democrats, though.
Yeah, but they can't because they don't have a front runner. That makes sense.
Yeah, yep.
How would they campaign,
dude,
if they know Biden's going to be out of there?
How insane is it that we're in August and there's no VP?
Exactly.
So I looked it up. I'm like, wow. Like, you know, in 2016 it was July at the DNC when they announced Tim Kaine with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And now we're into August, and we're going to have to wait till the end of the month. So it's like, now I get it. COVID delayed everything, so maybe it's not that big of a deal relative to what this means.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not campaigning, man. You know, their message is muddled and mixed. Yeah. Joe Biden was hard on China, soft on China, hard on China again. They don't know where they're going with it. Now there's all these articles popping up saying Joe Biden shouldn't debate. Then you get CNN coming out saying only the right-wing media is talking about Joe Biden not debating. And it's like the New York Times published in the Washington Post. Like CNN, man, these people are really, really dumb and really, really bad at their jobs. And also lying to manipulate people.
Yep.
But that was impressive when Brian Stelter for CNN said it's a right-wing media tempest to claim Joe Biden won't debate and there's no point in talking about it. And I'm like, I'm just talking about what you guys publish. I think even CNN published the story too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about with these journalists having no idea what's going on in the world.
Well, it's even worse too because Hillary's campaign manager, I don't remember his name.
Podesta. No, it wasn't Podesta. Who was her campaign manager? Was it Podesta?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
maybe.
actually, I think it was, but it's someone who's working with Biden now. Announced that like a week ago, we can't get Biden to go up against Trump. Number one, Trump isn't a legitimate candidate for a debate with Biden. It's like that they believe that. That's an issue. They never accepted his presidency, and it's very clear,
right,
that's the case. It's messed up.
What they're really saying is they've given a bunch of reasons. Trump's not going to debate fair. He'll lie. Therefore, don't debate. And my response is like, people lie at debates all the time. That's what moderators are for.
Right.
The moderators jump in and say, actually, and they do it to Trump all the time.
Yeah.
It's a fake reason.
Right.
The real reason is that Joe Biden can't stand up. He's sundowning. He if he stays up too late, he loses it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be able to talk straight.
And they probably can't get a hold of the questions like last time.
No, they probably could.
Right.
No, but but that's why Hillary was so prepared, and he didn't. It didn't matter. He still won.
You want to know something funny?
What?
Did you know that a lot of people claimed the reason Trump won is because of sexism? Regular people saw Hillary and just had a negative reaction to the fact that she's a woman in a tough position, in a position of power, right?
Okay.
So these performers put on a mock debate where they inverted the genders.
Oh, right.
And they did a verbatim transcript where they had a man play Hillary and say everything and act the way Hillary did, and a woman played Trump.
Okay.
Afterwards, they polled the audience and asked them what they thought, and guess what they thought?
The woman won.
The woman won. The woman who played Trump, saying the same things. And it's very, very simple. So I'm telling you, is another reason I think Trump is going to win. And I could be wrong. I'm just saying, I'm looking at all these things, and there are things that change in the news where I'm like, Trump was in a bad track for a while, but the riots got out of hand, and Trump started to dramatically improve, and the Democrats' only option was to lie. So what happens now when all these regular Americans are like, I watched a video of them attacking some like old lady, and the Democrats said, no, never happened. You're wrong. And they're going to be like, whoa, you're lying to me, dude. I watched the video.
Yeah, I saw the video myself. Exactly.
So I look at this, but I also, in reference to that debate where they switched the genders, I'm thinking about that Jonathan Swan interview with Trump. And it was the epitome of what is wrong with these reporters.
Right.
Yeah, I swear, if you guys haven't seen this,
it's cringy.
It's so the left is cheering on this reporter who got Trump. They owned Trump. Yeah. And I really think when you consider the fact these journalists are isolated on Twitter in these small bubbles, the people who are cheering for them are also on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're progressive, elitists, racists. They admit they're racist and their whole white fragility thing. They're like, yes, we know. And they love the idea of the snooty ivory tower elite smacking down Trump and acting like a jerk.
Yep.
And I'm from the gutter and I can't stand it. I do not like people who think they're better than everybody else and talk like it.
Yep.
Like, who do you think you are? And Trump doesn't do that.
You're right. He doesn't.
And that's been a big thing about Republicans for a while, that people will say things like they talk like regular people. So I watched this thing about this journalist and I'm just like, oh man, I'll tell you what, I can't stand these people. And we've had a populist surge, and I think the internet has allowed for this. But then I think back to that debate with female Trump and male Hillary, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Hillary was going, no, you're wrong. And the guy was doing that too. And people were like, oh, stop. That's so off-putting.
Yeah, it is.
And the woman, as Trump was going, listen, no, the trade agreements that your husband put in hurt this country. No, you can't say that. And people liked that this person sounded like a regular person, was pushing back. It didn't matter if they were a man or a woman.
And those trade agreements, now that I've learned about them, were terrible for this country.
Definitely.
Wow. Seriously, we were losing our power. We were giving our power away, giving our dollars away. Nothing was staying in this country.
Yep. And that's why Bernie Sanders said it was a right-wing, a far-right idea to have open borders. The goal was to bring in people who could not legally work here. So you know what these factories would do?
What?
They would advertise in Mexico, come, we'll give you a job. Don't worry about it. The people would come up, get a job, and they would promise you, at the end of the month, we're going to pay you $2,000. And they would go, wow. And then just before payday, they would call up INS, before ICE, and then eventually ICE. And then the immigration's customs would come and arrest them all and deport them all back. These companies were fake hiring people to get them to do labor for them without having to pay them. Yeah, dude.
That's what the wall's about. Actually, the wall is about multiple things. It's keeping those people out so that minorities and lower income Americans can have those jobs and actually start working towards building their lives up. Secondary, the wall is ending human trafficking.
Yeah, and drug trafficking.
And drug trafficking. But more importantly, human trafficking, because it's huge, man.
You know what the crazy thing to me about the wall was?
What?
When they were like, the wall is so dumb because people just fly to this country. And it's like...
Yeah, legally.
Well, they'll overstay their visas, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so if 40% of illegal immigration is overstaying their visas, you're arguing that a large portion of it can be stopped by a wall? And then they go, well, they'll learn to get around the wall anyway. And I'm like, so you're saying it will act as a deterrent? Like, I don't understand what your point. I'm genuinely don't understand.
Yep.
Like, literally a wall will stop someone from moving from one point to another point.
And animals can move through the wall that they built, which is kind of cool.
Oh, small animals.
Yeah. I like that.
But I think did you see what happened when immigration raided those chicken factories?
No, what happened?
So they deported, I think, 700 people, and guess who came to take the jobs? Regular Americans. And they interviewed people, and they asked them, why would you, come and take this job? And they said, what do you mean? It pays better than McDonald's. Like, it paid like $14 an hour.
So, not bad.
And so, surprise, surprise, unemployment was going down, the joblessness was down, and that led that demand for labor was getting intense. And we actually had politicians saying, we need immigrants now because we're running out of workers. But that's not necessarily a bad thing to run out of workers. It increases the demand for labor, which forces wages up.
Good
and
point.
all these companies start competing for what little labor is left.
Yeah.
And that's what improves that reduces income disparity.
Yep.
There's another crazy thing about the economy under Trump is that a lot of these goals from socialists, like a 4-day work week, parental leave, healthcare, were being achieved just because the economy was doing well.
Yep.
And I remember reading this and I was like, wow, the left wanted to implement it through a policy mandate. But because the economy was so good, these things naturally emerged. Then, of course, they go after Trump. They hate him. And it's because they were extracting value.
Mm-hmm.
Send a factory overseas. That money goes overseas. The people who own the company get all the profits, and the Americans are giving their money to people in a different country.
And they get to use slave labor to make all this,
Exactly.
make profit because they're paying these people dirt.
No healthcare, no unions.
Nothing. No environmental control, nothing. No, so it's like they're getting all the benefits of getting cheap labor, cheap products to sell to Americans to take the money and bring it out of the country.
So it was like Dylan Ratigan said when he was on MSNBC, this country is being extracted. And he mentioned partly through trade, among other things. He was very critical of the Republicans and they want to burn it all to the ground and Democrats want to kick the can down the road.
Yep.
But the country was being extracted. I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what he meant by that. It was, 7 or 8 years ago. I think longer than actually, maybe 9 years ago. But a lot of people, they heard that. And I wonder if this was all part of the precursor to, how Trump came to be.
Well, Trump was talking about it too back then.
He was, absolutely was.
He's been talking about it for years.
So here's what I see. And the whole point of this about, I think he's going to win, is that I read this story about journalists being worse than they were in 2015.
Yep.
And that was like the last spike in the coffin. And I was like, okay, I know it's one story, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. But that says to me a lot of what I needed to hear. The journalists, I thought they improved their tactics, their methodologies. They didn't. They did not. In fact, it is worse today. So when you see these stories that say things like Trump admits that he's losing, somebody tweeted this. They were like, if you're one of these people that's sharing a tweet saying Trump is losing, congratulations, you're the mark. You're the rube.
Yep.
These stories invariably come out. These articles come out and say Trump admits that he's losing. Trump knows he's losing. Trump is in a panic. Republicans are freaking out. And they were like, you're the one who's being tricked.
Yep.
And what's interesting is that I've had a ton of stories talking about Democrats freaking out. And I actually reflected several times, like, how is it that I keep running into these stories from these outlets saying that Democrats are freaking out? But it is. You look at Joe Biden today and his constant gaffes, and even liberal politicos are complaining about Joe Biden and freaking out.
Yep.
There are definitely concerns on the Republican side about Trump and stuff like this, but it's not nearly as pronounced. Then you see what's going on with Antifa and their desperation, their lies. And
Yep.
I'm like, man, these people, I could be wrong. I could be biased. But I'll tell you one thing.
Well, I agree with you there.
I follow a bunch of different news organizations, left, right. I use bias fact checking, third party. I go to like allsides.com and I'll read like, what's the bias here? And now I've mostly know the biases of a lot of these outlets.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, man, I think Republicans acknowledge their faults, not perfectly, and they're willing to take a balanced view of things. Democrats are not.
Absolutely true.
The best example is Ted Cruz saying straight up in that hearing, he named a bunch of far-right groups like the Klan and said, we unequivocally will denounce them. Mazie Hirono, will you denounce Antifa? And she was like, you don't listen to me, do you? And then stormed off.
Yeah.
So it's like, if the Republicans can name right-wing groups and left-wing groups, if the Republicans can primary and oust Steve King because he said naughty words, they clearly are paying attention to what Americans care about, and the Democrats are not.
Yep.
So I see that, and I'm like, maybe there are a lot of people who aren't paying attention, or maybe the media is wrong. And then you see the story. Check it out. It's from, Illinois, Urbana or whatever. Yeah. They're wrong.
Yep.
They're just following each other. So I'll tell you what else.
Well, before we move on, I also want to talk about the Cato Institute, what they were talking about, because the Cato Institute, if you didn't pay attention, or were you with us on that episode that we talked about this? It was a couple weeks ago, I think, and it basically said that most Americans, I think 62%, were afraid to even talk about their political leanings because it would offend someone. Their political opinions.
They were afraid it would offend
over
people.
62%, and that's everyone. That's not just the people on the right, the people in the middle. There was also some like liberal, like soft liberals. What was it? I don't remember what the term was.
It was liberal and strong liberal.
Well, okay, so strong liberals. They were okay with talking about it.
Only group.
They were the only group willing to talk about who they were going to vote for and their political stuff. And it's like, so proof the silent majority exists because we're out there. They're
Listen,
out there, man.
We could very well just be patting each other on the back, being like, haha, we're going to win. They're so wrong. And maybe they're doing better than we realize. So you got to keep that in mind. Make sure you do everything in your power to vote. And I've heard people say they're willing to walk over broken glass to go and vote for Trump.
Yeah.
You don't hear that for Biden because Biden does. There's not even Biden signs anywhere.
I'm looking forward to stamping for Trump.
This is
Definitely.
another big factor. I'm like, there's no Biden signs.
None. No, I did see one. Someone actually tagged me in a legitimate one.
Yeah, it was like a graphic of like an old flag or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like says Joe or something. I don't know. It's whatever.
I don't see signs for Biden anywhere.
I haven't physically seen one myself, but I've seen plenty of Trump flags. I've seen Gadsden flags.
We had those people in Seattle come out with rifles and block these far leftists.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think people know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like, nah, they're lying. None of this.
We've had enough of this childish LARPing that we're seeing, because that's what it is. It's all these children that are privileged that think that they can go and do whatever they want. I mean, that one girl, what was it, in New York, that she screamed at the cop, or effing what?
Yeah. He was like, get back. And she goes, who are you to tell me to get back?
Right.
And he goes, get back. And she goes, or effing what? And jumps in his face.
Right.
And the supervisor goes, all right, she's coming. And he grabs her. And then she's like, guys, they pull her
Are
in.
you serious?
Yeah. Oh, man.
What?
People like Law and Order.
Yes, they do. I do.
Now, this could all be biased, but here's the thing, for me, I don't only follow conservative channels. I follow all the mainstream news, and I am seeing over and over again, mail-in voting isn't working. So when the New York Times tells me it's not working, I'm like, okay. Then when their Politico comes out, or their pundit from New York comes out and says, Trump said without evidence, I'm like, no. You must be in a different office where you don't actually read the news, because your own colleagues at other offices are saying straight up, it's falling apart. So what's going on with this? These people don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I've heard from some Trump supporters, man, they're not confident. So it's all about it being a close race. Some people have said, some high-profile Trump supporters are acting pessimistic to make sure Trump supporters go out and are desperate. Like, you have to go out. Because the fear is that if everyone really believes Trump is going to win, it's a guarantee, then people will be like, I don't need to vote. He's going to win.
I think he's going to win, and I can't wait to vote.
That's the thing.
And that's the mentality of every single Trump voter that I know. Every single one is like, we're going to win, and we're voting. We can't wait. I can't wait to go vote.
You know what it is?
What?
When you go into that voting booth and you press the button, pull the lever, check the box, tap the screen,
yeah,
that simple action is the largest
American.
Collective FU to every single lie from the media.
Yep.
To every single for every single time the Democrats told you Antifa didn't exist, they were a myth, the violence isn't real. When you in your area experienced it, when your shop was shut down by these governors, when your gym owner, your favorite gym had their owners arrested, pressing that button is sending that big FU. Michael Moore said it.
Yep.
And you know what's funny? Michael Moore gave this great speech, and boy, was he wrong in the end, but he was right in the beginning, where he said that, come November 9th, people are going to go in the voting booth, and they are going to send the largest collective FU to the establishment ever recorded in history. And they'll enjoy it.
Maybe for the time, because I have a feeling that this, like you said, Democrats only have what did they say? They've gone against every single election that wasn't a landslide, and it was only 2 times. Yeah,
right. 2 landslides.
Since Trump 2020 landslide. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
Michael Moore said they'll send the collective FU, and they'll be happy for a week, maybe a month, and then like the people of the UK, they'll realize. And then he goes off talking about how bad it is and how they'll regret it.
Yeah, until the economy shot up.
No. This is important.
Okay, go ahead.
He said the people in the UK regretted voting Brexit, except on December 13th, 2019, after Brexit wasn't getting done for 3 years, they sent another collective FU. And there were areas of the country in the UK that hadn't voted Conservative in 90 plus years, turned red. And it was a political bloodbath. So Michael Moore was wrong. He was correct when he said they'd go in there and send the FU to the establishment. But if we follow the same path as the UK, then we should see a landslide. The polls were wrong about Brexit. The polls were wrong about the Conservative victory. and they were way off. They did lean towards a conservative, winning, but they thought the conservatives in the UK wouldn't get enough to actually have a majority, and they would be stopped by a coalition party. That's how Parliament works. And they were wrong. It was a crushing defeat, sending shockwaves through Europe even. And then Brexit happened. Boom, a month later.
Yep.
Brexit is done. It's going to be a transitional period. If we follow suit, the polls are wrong, the politicos are wrong, and we might see another one of these epic landslides.
Red wave.
More than that, like a 49-state landslide.
Yeah.
So here's my theory, which I mentioned the other day. When times are good, people don't get active. The silent majority hangs out and says, I don't care about politics. Like that comic where the guy's in the guillotine, he says, I don't really care for politics. But what happens when you have 4 years of absolute psychosis, and then the last year, 2020, is the worst it's ever been? And it's not Trump's fault. Trump gave you the best economy of your lives.
Yep.
But all of a sudden now, they look, it's one thing if Russiagate was true. Then people would be like, wow, Trump did wrong. Instead, the Democrats were wrong.
Yeah,
they were wrong.
Not only were they wrong, they're the ones who caused it. They're the ones who started it illegally.
Yeah.
Trying to basically a coup on a sitting president.
They were wrong. And so everybody said, all that for what? They were wrong about Jussie Smollett. They were wrong about Covington. They were wrong about Ukrainegate. Impeachment failed.
Yep.
And at this point, there's probably some people who blame Trump, but I imagine there's a lot of people saying the Democrats need to stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Well, now they're trying to blame COVID on Trump. It's like, how? He's locked down, and the Democrats ridiculed him for locking down when he did. He tried to help mandate everything, and they're like, you can't tell us what to do.
Yep.
We're going to go walk around in Chinatown. Pelosi, walk around in Chinatown. Everything's great, everybody. Like, no.
And de Blasio.
I can't believe Trump is going to lock everything down. Now she's calling it the Trump virus. Get out of here, Pelosi. I can't wait for you to be voted out.
You factor this in with the fact that there were mass riots.
True.
Jake Paul getting raided, famous YouTuber getting raided for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the governors of your state marching with these people. What do you think a regular person is going to be thinking when they're listen, man? I've heard stories about what's going on for people who've lost their jobs, and it's terrifying. It terrifies me. I mean, scares me. Some of these stories break my heart. I was reading a story about one guy who lived with his girlfriend, and they lost their jobs because they worked in the service industry. Their savings dried up, and now they're just throwing away all their furniture because they have nowhere to go and they have to move. They can't afford moving companies, and they're getting out of the cities. And I'm like, that's a nightmare for a lot of people. Some of them probably blame Trump. But the ones who've been paying attention look, people don't understand at the national level. These politicos, this is what I'm talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. Because they live in D.C., they assume that the federal government is literally everything.
Yep.
But they don't understand. When I watch cable TV here in South Jersey, I get commercials for local news. Local news is what comes on after watching certain shows. And the local news talks about the governor of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, not Donald Trump. And I'm not hearing from local outlets and local papers and people I live next to who are saying, man, did you see what Donald Trump did? No, they're saying, do you see what Murphy did?
Yeah.
They're
Cuomo.
talking about the Democrats. So I imagine you're like these politicos in DC don't understand that at a local level, people actually pay attention to who their council people are, look, in Seattle, they're calling into the council meetings complaining about the radical experiment of defunding the police. They're not calling Trump. They're not blaming Trump for that. This is what I think these DC people don't get. They all follow each other. They see the news about the federal government, SCOTUS, Congress, and Trump, and they think that's all anyone cares about.
Yeah, because all the mainstream media have all the connections to the money. The establishment. They all are connected in their own little bubble. And they're like, tell all the news to push out this narrative because we need the people to believe this. And then they're doing that, and the people are like, sorry, we don't listen to that anymore. We realize that that's BS. So we're not going to fall prey to that. So
I think
people are waking up.
I think it's less nefarious than that. The study that I was citing before found that in cable TV, Fox, MSNBC, and CNN, all these producers, they still talk to each other on Twitter. So they share the same guests, and even though they claim like Fox News is fake news, but MSNBC is better, and then other people are like, no, MSNBC is Fox News. At the professional level, these people are all talking to each other.
So it's not malicious; it's ignorance.
They're in bubbles.
Yeah,
they are in isolated bubbles. Man, it's really crazy. Look, when I started Twitter, I curated some activists. some conservative outlets and some mainstream outlets and some leftist outlets. These people, when they get on Twitter, is they immediately follow their friends.
Yep.
So the only things they see on Twitter, what they think is real life, are the things their friends are talking about.
Good point.
Then, because all their friends are complaining about Trump, they don't realize regular people in Pennsylvania. Dude, I was in PA and I can't remember who I was talking to, but they did not care about Trump. They were talking about, I don't know who the governor of PA is. Who's the governor of PA? Is it Wolf?
I think. Yeah.
They were like, can you believe what this guy's doing? And I was like, what's he doing? And they were like, oh, dude, it's been a disaster. He's out marching with these people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, interesting. What do you think about Trump? And they're like, what's Trump doing? He's not, like, I live in PA, you know?
Right.
People don't get it, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of my former Facebook friends that were reaming me out for saying I'm going to vote for Trump went ahead and also complained about Gavin Newsom a lot. Like, they were ripping him apart. And I'm like, how are you, like, do you realize what Trump's doing is trying to help you? And Gavin Newsom is trying to sell out your state.
But it's not even about that, right? I'm saying you can absolutely hate Trump.
Yeah.
But do you think they're going to vote for Gavin Newsom again?
No, definitely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely
Now,
not.
I still think they'll vote Democrat. They'll just primary him from someone further left, and the downward spiral continues.
Right.
But this is the point I'm making, that even the people who hate Trump, there's going to be a reaction against the local level Democrats.
Wow.
Like Gavin Newsom. So that's why I think what we might see is akin to the UK, not because Trump is going to, landslide everything, but because we're going to see something really interesting shift. So we recently learned that progressives, a couple progressives just beat in their primaries, they beat the incumbent Democrats.
Yeah.
And that is a part of it.
I saw that.
They're angry about what the Democrats are doing, and they're voting for change. But the only direction they know to go is the left, because the right is evil, I suppose. I do think, however, the suburbs are not going to view it that way, and they're going to be like Trump. So Trump will probably landslide. We'll see, though, man. Cheating is a factor. Mail-in vote failure is a factor. 25% of the ballot in Brooklyn being disqualified is a factor. So who knows what's going to happen? I genuinely believed that Trump would not win in 2016, not because he didn't have the support, but because they wouldn't let him win, either through, dirty games or hard manipulation of the vote.
Yeah.
Like I've known about vote box hacking for a long time. Some like teenager at a hacking convention hacked a voting box, a digital voting, voting booth.
Yeah, I remember that.
In like a couple hours or something.
Right.
So it's like, dude, I'm not confident at all. And then it turns out they actually did cheat. They colluded with other establishment organizations like CNN, giving the questions to Hillary, so they could try and stop Bernie Sanders and try and stop Trump, but they weren't enough.
Yeah.
Too many people were addicted to Trump.
Well, now they made ballot harvesting legal in California, I think, and in Nevada they're trying it also.
We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
The media, they definitely have allies in media who will try and stop anyone having these conversations. But yeah. Look, in 2018, I was thinking about this. I'm like, I said that I thought the Republicans were going to sweep.
Yeah.
And then early on, the initial reporting was that Republicans, for the most part, did. But then they started saying, oh, found some ballots. Oh, found some more ballots.
Oh, here's some. I found them in Biden's basement.
They started finding ballots all over the place. And then all of a sudden, all these Democrats ended up winning. And then there was the blue wave.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird.
Sketchy.
Early on, I was very much just like, well, wow, the mail-in ballots, I didn't expect that. Should have waited. Now we're at this point where we're seeing all these votes get disqualified. And I'm like, could it be that you have corrupt people? I'm not talking about some like grand conspiracy where Hillary's got puppet strings. I'm talking about you get one dude who's got Trump derangement syndrome, and he looks at a ballot and he can see it's Republican, and he goes, "This one's I don't think the signature is right." They throw it in the garbage. Or what happens if one post office worker sees a big box and it's from a heavy Republican district.
Yeah.
And he just looks around and he kicks it under a desk.
Hey, you know what's really funny?
What?
So I saw a stat. I didn't have a chance to check it, but I read something like 76% of postal workers are actually Republicans. Whoa. So if you don't want the election to be rigged in favor of the Republicans, you should probably just not do mail-in voting.
I just think ultimately we are not prepared for mail-in voting.
Well, we're not.
Well,
And it's going to be.
I mean, if the masks work and we could go shopping at Walmart, why can't we go stamp a freaking thing?
Yeah, go
It
riot.
doesn't make any sense.
voting is more essential than anything else in this country.
Yep.
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe if you're like bleeding to death, we can rush you to the hospital and got to wear a mask.
well,
we
I mean,
understand.
if we got certain members of our government that are selling out our country, it's awfully important to me.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like what's happening.
This is the big question, man. How big is the silent majority? How active are they?
Yep.
And are they going to crawl over broken glass to make sure Trump wins? Because
Definitely.
every obstacle is being thrown in everyone's path.
It's just it's emboldening everyone. Everyone's going, bring it on, Democrats. We don't care. At least that's me. I
what's
like to
great?
only speak for myself, but I see it out there. But I know I'm gonna go out there and I will walk over glass to vote. Absolutely.
Somebody I know posted a meme from the Biden campaign about all of the bad things Trump has done and like all the problems.
A meme.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So I went through
wonderful.
it. I went through it point by point.
Yeah.
Breaking everything down and basically fact checking all of these nonsensical claims.
Of course.
First of all, they said, the COVID deaths. And I was like, well, 10th Amendment, right? Trump doesn't have the authority to go to the states and dictate what they can do or can't do during a pandemic. So can you really blame him, especially with Cuomo?
Right, and he tried to help also.
Right. I posted the link to Andrew Cuomo from ProPublica saying he was responsible for 6,500 deaths by putting sick people. Then there was one about unemployment, and I'm like, Trump didn't make COVID happen. The Democrats are the ones who locked down their states and shut the economy down.
Yep.
Trump was opposed to that and said, open things back up.
Yeah.
So you can't blame him for this. And I go through this, and I'm like, I respond in each and every point, and the response I get was a nonsensical meme. Just another meme, reaction face.
Just like some sort of anti-MAGA.
No.
That's what I see a lot.
It was a general reaction meme.
Oh, okay.
Just of like And I'm like, I just broke all this down for you, all these lies from Biden's campaign about what's going on.
Yep.
There was only one thing on the list that I was like, yep, and it was the inflation of the national debt, and I was like, yep. Trump said he was going to knock it down. It was going to go down,
failed.
and it's certainly gone way up. Yeah.
That makes me so mad. The
national
budget, yeah.
Well, now things are getting scary when it comes to the economics, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, he's going after big tech companies that have this multinational, not paying taxes, kind of working the system to get out of the way, and he's going after those people. Maybe that will help bring our deficit down quite a bit.
We need, in my opinion, manufacturing back.
Absolutely, 100%.
We need to help the people here get jobs because the competition in labor market will allow people to get better wages. We want the pressure to be on the business owners, not on the job seekers.
Yeah.
The job seekers should be excited that there's always a new job around the corner.
Yep.
And these businesses are fighting to get the best talent.
Well, you know what there's going to be a good future in? A couple things. Glass. Because all these glass of every company has been, I mean, it's funny, and it's sad, but it's true.
Hold on. Can you explain why?
Well, the rioters have been breaking glass everywhere. I mean, everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Now, concrete, no joke, concrete, and learning maybe like what's going to be the advances of concrete. Our infrastructure needs a rehaul.
Yep.
Our dams, there's over 3,000 dams that provide energy for our country. Like you know about Three Gorges Dam right now and what's going on there. They built that and finished it in 2008, and it's already could be crumbling like right now. Right. So it's only 12 years old, right? And the dams in our country have been around, average is about 50 years old, okay? And with a shelf life of 57 years. So in the next 7 years, a lot of our energy structures, the dams, are going to need to be rehabbed.
Yep.
So there's going to be a boost. We're going to have to take care of that, or else our energy is going to go away. So concrete, learning how to construction, trade, electricity, heating and air conditioning. If you talk about, global warming, what's up, Boku? And, we're going to need trade is a huge thing. I'm just giving a little tips for people who are looking for what to work for. And it's like, those are all things that are going to be needed soon.
I'm going to cite Jim Cramer on this, and I want to talk a little bit about a little bit of economics.
Okay.
Jim Cramer said the best numbers of our lives in reference to the stock market, unemployment, all of these things under Trump before COVID, just broke everything down. And the Democrats locked down all of these, basically locked everything down. And they're arresting people who dare try to run their business. There's a couple things that say to me, it's not at all about COVID. There was a woman who was live streaming on Facebook products in her store and saying, I'm going to show you, tell me what you want, and then I can mail it to you. The police were sent in to shut her down.
What?
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Why?
This was a while ago. No idea. She said they were like, ma'am, you have to close. And she goes, we are closed. Can't you see the sign? And they're like, yeah, but you're doing stream to sell stuff. And she's like, yes, I'm in my building with the door closed. What? And they were like, nope, you have to stop.
Man, so that makes me think of that tweet that AOC tweeted that everyone Larry David just, or not Larry David. Larry David.
Listen up.
Sorry. Man, what is his name? Who did Uncle Tom the movie? I'm spacing right now.
Oh shoot, Larry Elder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Larry Elder just tweeted this, and people are hitting me up like, "Whoa, is this real?" And it's that AOC tweet that's saying, "Look, we just got to keep the economy down because if it rebounds, it'll help Trump get reelected." And it's just like, I think it's fake.
It's fake.
I know, right? There's no proof that it's a real thing, but man, does it make sense that's? I mean, what you're just saying? It's
Take a look at the source.
Why are they trying to do this?
Take a look at the source.
It's clear that they want to keep the economy down because that's what Trump is known for. He built an amazing economy. Like we were churning money. Everyone was making money.
Yeah. News 12, New Jersey. Police interrupt business owner as she was selling items on Facebook Live.
Wow.
A small business owner who had to close her non-essential business says that she has had several run-ins with police while she tried to make some money. The latest incident came while Catherine Hermes was conducting a shop-from-home style Facebook Live from her country home store in downtown Bernardsville. Hermes and a friend were inside the store, both not wearing masks, showing off the products to viewers who can purchase them online. Police showed up around 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Police told Hermes that it had to be closed after 8 p.m. and that she and her friend needed to have masks on. Hermes defied the executive order forcing her to close when she opened her store to customers last Saturday. She did physically open her store at one point. But this was her doing a live stream. Could you imagine if right now the cops showed up and said, yo, business is shut down. What do you think you're doing talking on the internet?
I think the internet would riot.
Did anybody riot for her?
I didn't know about it till right now.
I covered it when it happened. I talked about it and I said,
well, to be fair, I don't watch all of your segments.
No, I know. But listen, this is not about COVID.
No, it's definitely not.
A little old lady. Okay, I'm exaggerating. A woman running her business.
Yeah.
I think she's like a boomer or middle-aged. And she's live streaming products. And they show up and say, shut it down. You can't do this. Wow. What?
That's crazy.
How is she spreading COVID by selling stuff on the internet?
I know,
I
right?
order stuff from Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Amazon is being bolstered. Their stock is going way up because they're the only thing left. And now I'm going to show you what's going on. So here's my ultimate point as we get into this.
Yeah.
Jim Cramer, best numbers of our lives. Out of Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who do you think is going to help fix the economy? I have literally no reason to believe Joe Biden can do anything to help the economy. And all of the things I don't like about Trump are irrelevant when it comes to who knows how to make money. Sorry, it's not going to be Joe Biden.
No.
Which brings me now to the more serious stuff I've been seeing lately. Check this out. Bitcoin price rises above 3%. Rises 3% as gold trades above $2,000 for the first time. I have no idea what it means that gold is above $2,000 for the first time, but I can tell you that I have seen gold and silver go way up recently. Look at this. Gold prices surge midday Tuesday to reach an intraday record above 2013. Silver jumps nearly 5%. What is silver currently trading at?
27.
27.
Yeah, from
Whoa.
22 just the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
Wow, man.
It's up.
That's
Check
crazy.
this out. Early stage mortgage delinquencies hit 21-year high. This stuff is freaky news, man.
That's crazy. 21-year high.
So listen, I've talked to a lot of people about why you got to buy your gold, people. And they're always telling me different things. I've heard from some people that people are buying gold right now because they're not confident in the U.S. economy. So they're you basically look at it this way. You've got two platforms that are going up and down, and you want to stay floating. So everybody's jumping over to hard metals because they retain their value,
right?
Because they think dollar's going to drop. People can't pay for their houses. People are, I think it's what is it? It's 21-year high. The spike caused an overall mortgage delinquency rate to jump to 6.1 from 3.6 in March, interrupting 27 straight months of declines, according to a report from CoreLogic. So we're now entering the 2008 territory. Apparently, we're worse than the Great Depression or whatever. What happens next? A lot of people think that, once this is all over, once the lockdowns end, everything recovers. But they're telling us second wave, and they're telling us to lock down again. They're trying to make sure these businesses are crushed completely.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
The economy is going to be in the gutter, and that's why people are jumping ship. I don't know what their plan is, but I'll tell you what, for me at least, it doesn't make me confident in Joe Biden. Makes me absolutely more scared that Joe Biden would win.
Yeah.
What would make anybody think he's going to fix the economy, especially when we're seeing all this insanity?
True that.
No, Trump is the economics guy.
Yes, he is.
What happened with New York in the 80s or whatever?
In 1983, when he finished the Trump Tower, I mean, he convinced a lot of rich people to move in. And that increase of money, like one apartment sold for $10 million. New York got the taxes from that. So all these taxes that he dragged in when he finished that building, I mean, crime was crazy in New York in the 70s. So when that happened, like Donald Trump changed New York City with that tower. He changed it. All the rich people that moved in, all of a sudden they were there. Yep.
Bolstered the tax base.
Yes, he did. Exactly.
What's happening in New York now?
Oh, can we talk about that next? This is a perfect segue. All right, so check this out. This is from, what is this? Fox News. Cuomo calls on wealthy New Yorkers to come back to the city. I'll buy you a drink.
Ooh. Truly sad.
You did this to yourself, Cuomo and de Blasio. They did this.
To be fair, Cuomo's made more mistakes. He's made tons of mistakes.
True.
But he has been repeatedly saying for a long time he does not want to raise the taxes on the rich. They're already really high, and he needs them to stay.
Yep.
Because he knows exactly what you're talking about. With Donald Trump building that tower, inviting the rich people to come to New York under this, it was hip, it was popular. You want to live in this building. It was luxury. It was cool.
It's still a nice building.
Oh, definitely. I heard he's got a golden toilet. Is that true?
I don't know. I want to use it, though.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, rich people moved in. It bolstered the tax base. It resurrected this city. I was watching a documentary about it. This is why Cuomo is begging them to come back. They're not coming back.
No. Why would they?
You have to be insane to go back to Bill de Blasio, New York City.
Absolutely.
That guy's nuts.
Yeah, I feel bad for that city. I spent half of my life there. I have a big love for New York, but not anymore. Like I see what they've done to the city and what they don't care about the people in the city. That's all I see.
You know what makes me really angry? I've never been a MAGA person.
No.
I've never. I sit back in my chair in 2016 when the Trump people and the Hillary people were all yelling, and then when Trump won, I just laughed.
Yeah.
Because
I remember you telling me.
The comeuppance of the snooty elites.
Yep.
But I didn't vote. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not gonna have anything to do with this. But now I'm really angry the Democrats have forced me into a position where it's like, you finally done it. I got to climb off this thing. This fence, it's really tall. Okay. I've been sitting on this fence minding my own business. Now I got to climb down and go, press a vote button, because I look at the history. Donald Trump launches Trump Tower, bolsters the tax base in New York City. Hey, that makes sense. The city starts making more money. It works.
Yeah.
Donald Trump gives us the best economy of our lives, according to Jim Cramer. I can't deny that.
The past 70 years, a couple people's lives.
The data was there. The data said unemployment was at a massive low for marginalized communities. We were seeing, businesses doing better and better. And I was like, I can recognize that, but I'm still kind of like, whatever. I have no incentive to get involved. Now the Democrats are literally burning everything in the ground.
Yep.
They're the ones shutting things down. I am being forced to leave this state because of the insane governor of New Jersey. This guy's nuts.
Who's another one that has blood on his hands because he was
putting people in these nursing homes. What do they think I'm stupid? Do they think I don't like people listen?
Yes, Tim. They definitely do.
Right.
They think the American public is stupid.
But this is the point I'm making is I run a business. I run a bunch of businesses. I got to do a ton of research. I got to talk to lawyers all the time. I got to read the news all day. I mean, for me, I get it. The guy who's selling, chairs at a furniture store doesn't have to read the news all day. But people who run businesses are paying attention probably to a greater degree to understand what the new regulations are. Can I sell these chairs anymore because they passed this new law?
Yep.
And they're seeing the governor of New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York going. I don't know about Cuomo himself, but the mayor of New York going out and marching with these protesters just after they burned down a bunch of parts of their cities.
Yep.
And they're going, what?
Or that $1 billion company that moved to Texas or
Yeah.
moved to Arizona.
Yeah, from Seattle.
From Seattle.
It was a $1 billion hedge fund, so I don't know what
Right.
they managed a lot of
Well,
assets.
they're no longer in Seattle.
Yep.
They're in Phoenix now. So
How
yep.
could anyone look at all this and think Joe Biden is going to save us from this crisis?
when he doesn't even make appearances, he can barely, create a solid sentence that's coherent. Like I never understand what he's saying. It's always just a joke to me. Like, wow, it's kind of fun, like trying to figure out what he's saying.
So what are our options? Do people really think like, hey, vote for Biden so everything can burn to the ground?
Right.
It's like, okay, look, I understand Trump's got, what did Sargon say about him? Because they don't like his diction.
Right.
I'm like, that's one way to put it. But he's not the character. There's a lot I could talk about, but I don't care to rehash all this stuff.
Well, the whole thing about this will be Biden's America, and
that's true.
And they're like, well, it's Trump's America now, and it's like, no, those are the Democrats doing that. What are you talking about?
Well, these people, it's a bit more complicated. The shield wall of moms are the Democrats.
Yeah.
Who would vote for Biden. And Antifa hate Biden and hate liberals and hate Democrats, but will use them as human shields to advance their ideology.
Yeah.
The reason why that's Biden's America, not Trump's America, is because in Trump's America, he deploys DHS to go bolster the U.S. Marshals at the courthouse and defend federal property.
And then you have the Marxist leader that straight up says, well, Biden is more malleable and will bend the knee to what we say if we riot.
Biden's going to fall asleep.
Yep.
And I don't even care if it's Biden at this point, because let's operate under the assumption it won't be Biden.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I don't know. By the end of the month, it's not going to be Biden. We'll see, but I don't care who it is. When you get these Democratic senators like Merkley, every word out of his mouth just a lie.
Yep.
He could say the word "the," and I'd be like, "You're lying. I don't believe you." He did this hearing where he's like, the peaceful protesters and Trump's secret police with unmarked blah blah blah. And I'm like, none of that is true. None of that is true. So you've pissed me off. Now I got to climb off this fence. I'm not happy about it. Okay. I don't want to be involved. I'll tell you this. The economy is in shambles. And I'll tell you what, man, you know who's the least person affected by it? Me. Because I do an internet show where I talk about politics. And as long as politics are churning, my business is not impacted. But I see all these other people who are telling stories of torching their furniture figuratively. Their lives are being destroyed. They're struggling. We're printing money like crazy. And I'm like, dude, this needs to stop.
Yep.
I got a van. I can go live down by the river, be fine for the rest of my life. What about all the other people who don't know where they're going to go, who don't have money for food? We need someone to fix this problem. Now you got me sitting here going like, the only person who can do it is Trump.
Yep.
Joe Biden is a disaster. He's a disaster when it's not even about policy. And so now I'm sitting here looking at New York, and this is the best example. Cuomo begging the rich people to come back.
Yep.
Okay. Is he going to beg Trump to come back? Trump, come help us.
Right.
They've been begging for bailout money. I'm sorry, man. These it's gotten so ridiculous. Anyway, I don't know. This is I'm looking at
Aren't they setting up some borders? You have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. What's going on with that?
I think I have that right here.
Oh.
New York City to set up quarantine checkpoints at city borders.
This is gonna fix it.
Who would want to live in this place?
Nobody. That
That's
doesn't
crazy,
make any
man.
sense.
I know.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in a certain capacity, but it's going to jam everything up, and it's going to be a nightmare for the people who have to come in and out of that place.
Do you remember when Sandy hit New York?
Yeah.
You were living there too, right?
Yeah, I got a cool story. One of the bus stops fell over, and people were skating on it.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, they were grinding on the top of it. It was cool.
So the city of New York, for the 3 days that they shut down, lost $2 billion in revenue. $2 billion in 2 days from tourism and just shopping and taxes of everything. So you can imagine, like, how long has New York been shut down now? 5 months. So 2 days, they lost $2 billion in revenue.
They won't. They can't recover, bro.
They cannot recover, especially because all the rich people moved out, and now they're quarantining anyone that comes into the city. How are they going to get away from? How can they bounce back from that?
They can't. And I was seeing an estimate that 1/3 of small businesses will not come back.
Yep.
They're just gone. They're gone forever. And makes
in
you feel
New York
awful.
or across the
New York
country?
City.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New York's done.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What's this?
I give you
Oh boy.
New York City.
Oh.
You want to read it?
New York's wealthy Upper East Side reports a shocking 286% increase in robberies, with armed gunmen holding up residents just feet from the homes of billionaires.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know this. When is this from?
Yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
286% increase.
Yep.
Well, I got a buddy who dipped at the beginning of March. He was like, I'm out. Me and my family we're dipping. They got rid of their apartment and they moved out.
Poor New York, man.
That's what I'm hearing from pretty much everyone I know that lives in New York.
Yeah. I'm hearing from a lot of people they're getting out of cities.
Yep.
I was talking to a progressive friend of mine in LA, and they were like, "How you been? What's new?" And I'm like, "Just getting as far away from cities as possible." And they were like, "I dig it. I could totally do the same thing."
Yep.
It's an issue of can they afford to do the same thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, that's why I think we're in desperate need of someone who can solve this problem, and that's why I say I'm like really angry with the Democrats that they could have literally chosen any viable candidate from a whole slate of people, and you can disagree with them on policy, but hey, I'll tell you what. For all the things you might disagree with some of these other Democrats about, even Kamala Harris, like you can think I think she's nasty. I think she's very evil. I think she's very corrupt, my opinion of her. But at least she's like capable of speaking English.
Yep.
You know?
It's a high
At
standard.
least she's honest about wanting to use slave labor.
Seriously. They said,
Jeez.
there was an article, Joe Biden's VP will be the most powerful VP in the history of this country. Maybe that's the goal, I guess. And it's going to be Kamala. You know,
You think so? That's who you're betting?
I mean, Politico, did that. What people like accidentally published that it was.
Yeah, but remember, that's if Biden is the DNC's choice, which I just don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't know what's going on with these people, and that's why I'm like, listen. Even if it was Tulsi Gabbard, even if it was Andrew Yang or Pete Buttigieg, Donald Trump still has the economic experience.
Yes, he does.
And that's that. What's your argument against that? That he's a bigot, that he's nasty, that he's racist? I'm like, that's true, but how many people need to starve to death because you don't like the opinions of Trump?
That's not even true.
No, the
Yeah.
point I'm saying is, if they're going to call Trump racist, I'll be like, okay, so how many people should starve to death because you don't like the way the president speaks?
Right.
What's your answer to that? So we had like, what was it? I think it was the World Health Organization. I'm not sure, saying like 250 million people are going to starve to death due to the shutdowns, and people are cheering for it. And I'm like, listen. How many people are going to die from COVID versus starving to death because of the economic shutdown?
Right.
How many are you okay with? I see that you've put on a hat.
Oh.
Well, there's a reason.
Oh, is there a reason?
No beanie, no peace.
Yes.
No beanie, no peace. I got you, chat. I got you.
Did we get it?
And you got me. Thank
Oh,
you.
My goodness. We nailed it. Ooh.
No beanie, no peace.
Great work, everyone.
I love this chat. Our fans are the best. I love you all. You guys are all fantastic. Thanks for coming here with us, because it's not the same without having you guys all here.
And now that
I
we're
love them.
and now to bring you back to the despair,
Oh, no.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm definitely going to
I love my boss.
Check it out. 250 million people could be pushed to the brink of starvation by end of year,
Oh, the
United
UN.
Nations.
Yeah.
The economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic will last well beyond the virus itself.
Yep.
This was in April. Now they're talking about shutting down again. This has gone beyond insane. And I'm tired of saying it. I've talked to friends where they're like, we have to lock down, we have. And I'm like, dude, 15 days to slow the spread. What day are we on? 140?
Yeah.
Well, but we've had, because people wouldn't wear masks. And I'm like, okay.
But the cases are spiking. Yeah, well, the deaths are still going down. That means it's not that bad. Period. It's not that bad.
Should 250 million people starve to death?
That's basically what they're arguing for.
And they don't
You're
care.
going to kill your grandmother. It's like,
It's just like with Greta Thunberg.
yep.
We have to stop all fossil fuels, even if millions of people die.
How dare you?
How dare you? We must burn down the entire global economy to kill people.
Yeah, she
She
is
is.
very wrong.
She's not literally saying that now a Snopes is going to fact check, pop up and be like, Tim Pool claims Greta Thunberg says all these people should die.
Yep.
False. Tim Pool lied. Yeah, it's a joke. She's talking about shutting down fossil fuels, which will lead to millions of people dying. Right now, the economic lockdown is going to cause mass starvation around the world.
Yep.
And these people don't know or don't care and are happy with it. Why? For tribal reasons. I am flabbergasted. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a great word.
It is a good word.
I am discombobulated.
Also
Oh,
good.
Another
Keep it
obscure
going.
words.
Yep.
Keep it going.
No, that's all I got.
I'm
Disgruntled.
verklempt.
What?
Verklempt.
Verklempt?
Oh, I like that
What does
one.
that mean?
That's an old SNL reference
oh.
from a bunch of old ladies. Chris Farley. It's old.
Verklempt.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to look it
I'm
up now.
verklempt. It's when you get all choked up and can't speak anymore.
Ah.
I think that's. I don't know.
All right, I'll Google it.
How do you navigate the space where you have the Democratic Party bending the knee to people who don't know 2 + 2 = 4.
Gosh, I don't know.
I'm not exaggerating, my friends.
Literally not.
I'm not.
1984, man.
The woke on Twitter are literally arguing 2 + 2 can equal 5. They're saying things like, well, it depends on how your axioms and your definitions. And it's like, no. Just stop. You will never have a circumstance where you take 2 pens and then Adam takes 2 pens and then poof, there are 5 pens. Just like a fifth one just magically appears. Actually, I guess if you cross your eyes and like put your fingers together, a weird third finger appears.
Well, you know when you take 2 quarters and then 2 quarters and then you do this, it kind of is an illusion that there's 3.
Oh.
Maybe
Well, that would be
they're
6
thinking.
though.
That's what I don't know.
The point is 2 + 2 = 4.
Yep.
Math.
There are 4 lights. Actually, we have 6 lights.
Yeah, that's not correct.
But there are 4 lights. It's a Star Trek reference.
Yes.
Learn how to count, Tim. Come on.
What do we do when you have the Republicans saying the far right, like the Klan and these groups, are bad, and so is Antifa, and the left says, well, there's no Antifa. That's a myth. And then the Republicans, the right, the moderates go 2 + 2 = 4. And the woke left goes, actually, I can think of at least 3 ways to make 2 + 2 = 5. No, you can't. You can create a different equation where 2 + 2 = 5 with qualifiers, but the literal equation is true because true and false exist. And then you have Democrats going, whatever they say on Twitter, I'll just repeat in Senate.
Yes.
How long?
That's what it seems like
How
they're
long?
doing. Jeez.
Bad policy.
How long until a Democratic congressperson or senator goes, Joe Biden will get him and go, 2 + 2 = 5. Listen here, fat. 2 + 2 can be 5.
You know the thing?
You know the thing we
No,
talk
that
about?
won't happen.
It won't be Biden.
No, they'll lose the majority of the middle. They can't risk that.
That's what Elon
Here's
says.
what I would like. I would like, there was someone made a joke in response to this 2 + 2 = 5 thing that the woke left is doing.
Okay.
That Anthony Fauci unequivocally announced that 2 + 2 does in fact equal 4 and never equals 5.
Fauci said that?
They're making a joke.
Oh, okay,
That
okay.
if he did, they'd be like, oh, well, then it must be true. And I'm like, okay, Republicans, just passively ask this. In your expert opinion, Dr. Fauci, is there any circumstance where 2 + 2 could be 5? He'll be like, no. What? Thank you. That's all.
That was my question.
I don't
Thank you.
understand. No, don't worry about it. You don't need to understand. I just want it on the record.
Yep.
How many Democrats would be like, I'm not answering that question? Not kidding.
Probably all of them.
Yep.
Because they can't risk losing the left
So few.
that they think is like the important voter base that they need to cater to. It's ridiculous.
The argument that 2 + 2 can equal 5 is basically saying that you can make anything equal anything by changing the meaning of words.
You
Right.
can.
And that's what they've been doing for a long time.
They're showing
Here's what
their
I'd like
hand.
to see. I would like to see a video of a Republican or anybody politely asking a Democrat, is there any circumstance in which 2 + 2 could be 5? And then have them say either, oh, I don't know, I'm not gonna get involved, and then just have that video go viral.
Yep.
There you go. Democrats can't tell you what 2 + 2 is. Go vote for them. Do it if you want to. That's where we're at right now. That's reclaiming my time. Yeah. All right. How about we hop over to their super chats?
Yes.
The super chats.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you know? So we're a republic, and I just want to read this. I was talking to Anisha about this earlier. And in a pure democracy, laws are made directly by the voting majority, leaving the rights of the minority largely unprotected. Right. So a republic, which is what we are, laws are made by representatives chosen by the people and must comply with the Constitution that specifically protects the rights of the minority from the will of the majority.
Yes.
So it's like the Democrats are ignoring the majority now and are only focusing on the minority and making laws for the minority alone without the will of the majority.
They think they're talking to the majority.
Right. They think that.
Right.
But that isn't true.
Exactly.
They're ignoring the majority now and only solely going for the minority. And that's why they will never answer 2 + 2 = 4.
It's because they think Twitter is real life.
Yep.
You're right.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you're right.
They look at these people on Twitter and these journalists who are also just on Twitter, easily influenced by activists who manipulate them. And now they're off in some fringe, corner talking about 2 + 2 equaling 5. And they mean it. They really do. And so you've got probably 92%, if you get rid of all progressive activists, are sitting there going, What?
Yeah.
2 + 2 is 4, man. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I see a direct connection because I think because the Democratic Party is so involved with the journalism and the journalists are so involved with the activists and they're on Twitter and their little tiny micro bubbles, that kind of explains the problem that the Democrats are having with not being able to see the bigger picture, what people actually want.
And that's why I think Trump is on track to win.
Entirely
Someone in
possible.
chat. I love this chat. Chat's the best.
They are.
I just want to say, someone in
true.
chat just went 20 + 20 = Trump. And I was just like, yes. That's good. That's
True.
good. All right,
True,
let's
true.
read some chats.
I'll just end by saying this. You take a character like Trump, and it reminds me of Family Guy when they hired an ugly woman to stand next to Meg, so she looks better by
by comparison.
By comparison,
Yeah.
And then she grabs the ugly girl and pulls her closer, and it's like, I think this country deserves a lot better than Trump, but right now Trump is the only option we have.
I don't know. The more I look into his policies, like he's doing an incredible job for our country. He's making our country stronger.
I agree.
He clearly likes our country and wants it. Like, no, he hasn't been a lifelong politician. Sure, he's not, he's a little rough around the edges in public speaking, but he speaks to everyone instead of just a specific group of people, which the Democrats, they cater to each individual person instead of just going, you're all Americans, I'm going to talk to everybody. And that's what he does. So I disagree. I think we need that right now.
And I respect your disagreement.
Awesome.
That's exactly what should be happening in this country, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think a bunch of disaffected liberal types are going to be like, I've been told this. There are people telling me the Democrats need to be sent a message. You've gone insane.
Yep.
And we should be having a politician who talks a lot. Here's what I've said over and over again. If we had a Democrat who agreed with Trump on a ton of policy issues and economics, but was more charismatic, a better orator, and, just all around more like with some military experience or something. If you just had Trump, but cleaner, the Democrats would win in a landslide, because the American people are looking for someone who's going to stand up for them. They're looking for someone who's going to fix the economy. They're going to bring our troops home, and the Democrats don't offer any of those things. So what do you get? You get Trump, who is rough around the edges. I'll put it that way. I'll be polite. And we could have more if the Democrats cared. They don't. But you know what I think it is? They don't want to help the American people. Trump does.
Yes, he does.
Trump's got issues, but at least he does want to help. The Democrats, they can pretend to be charismatic and charming and be there for you, but they really want to enrich themselves. It's been going on for too long, and now they're being scared they're getting kicked out. Let's read the super chats.
Sounds good.
Rigel J says, to Tim, the gang, and fellow viewers, the military and various three-letter agencies are being infected with SJW cultist ideology through the diversity, equity, and inclusion departments. They are resistant, but give it 5 to 10 years. If you are in any of them, speak up now. And we've already seen it. And the Army put out a statement, an email that said MAGA was white supremacist.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. And a bunch of other insane things like property taxes were white supremacy. Not kidding.
What?
Ian Hall. Yes.
Indeed.
I'm not kidding. The Army did that.
The Army put that out?
And it's a big scandal right now saying it's a violation of the Hatch Act, and they're trying to track down who did it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. The Army did it.
That's ridiculous.
That's why I'm saying.
Okay, so someone in their
The Army has an Office of Equity and Inclusion.
right, and someone in that office
like that.
put out like a tweet or something,
An email. Sent an email to all these other Army officers saying, here's the things you need to understand about racism and white supremacy. And they said saying "Make America Great Again" was a white supremacist slogan.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. These
There's
people,
nothing wrong with making America great again.
Correct, sir.
they're nuts. So Ian Hall says, happy birthday, Lydia.
Ah, thank
this
you.
super is for Soy Space Jesus. He got upgraded.
Just
Ooh,
Space Jesus
cool.
sounds good.
Space Jesus.
Drop the soy. I don't even like soy. You guys are
Let's
funny.
do it.
Satan. To make sure Lydia gets trashed for her 21st again,
Yes,
Birthday.
correct. Correct.
General Poole of the Salty Army gets nothing.
Oh,
He has yet to don the beanie of the God Emperor. His share goes to the cats.
okay.
I'm not going to.
Give it to the cats.
Audio Lord says, this is some Book of Revelations type stuff going on. Trump will sound the two horns, government. Then the Pale Rider comes. I'm too high for this.
Betsy.
Well, there you go.
I'm gonna spin this UFO. It's not spinning. It's throwing me off.
One
it.
Man Militia says, hey, Timcast team, I am a soldier serving in Afghanistan and about to head home. Thank you guys for keeping me sane and informed in these confusing times. Keep fighting the good fight. We need more people like you.
And thank you for your service.
Absolutely. And I'm
Glad
glad to
you're
hear
back.
that you're coming home.
Yes.
And, you know, when I told you this guy I know, he posted this meme from Biden. One of them was that Putin put bounties on American soldiers. And I was like, my response to that was, and almost right away, Trump said, bring our troops home.
Yeah.
What should he do?
I know.
So I was like, that's the perfect narrative for me to be like, oh, well.
Yeah, but he knew he didn't. He's claiming he didn't know, but he knew, and then and now he's trying to bring him home. What do you got?
Makes sense.
What do you got now?
And they're blocked. And the people, like the Democrats and Republicans blocked him saying, no, we need to understand what's going on with these bounties before you bring the troops home. And it's like,
No, you don't.
Wait, what?
Get 'em
So
out.
you admitting that our people, our soldiers out there are in danger, and he wants to bring them home.
Yeah.
But you want to keep them there
nuanced.
in danger
Yeah.
that you're admitting that they're in.
If you have not already,
Smash it.
well, they did. They definitely did.
Not
did.
enough.
No,
I
they
want
owned
more
it.
smashes.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say,
Smash.
you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Timcast. You can.
I'm almost done.
You can go to at Adam Krigler on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler and smash his follow button.
Oh, yeah.
Smash it. Let me get my camera.
Oh, here. Feels
Smash it.
very important.
Smash that follow button too. Yeah.
All right.
Pre-workout.
You're
That's
just
good. I
you're-
was having a good time.
You're getting more clips for the next smash the like button compilation.
That's
Did
super
you? I don't know if you
I
guys
saw
seen
it.
that.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's great though.
hilarious.
Yeah, there's a smash the like button compilation someone put together of me. It's pretty great.
That's
It's pretty
amazing.
great. So
Don't-
someone's actually working on a spin the UFO compilation.
Nice.
I don't know. I
And
haven't
don't
seen
forget-
it yet. So
You can follow at Sour Patch Lids.
It's true. And you should.
LYDS on Twitter and Parler.
especially today
It
because
is my
it is her
birthday.
birthday today.
Absolutely.
Follow
She
me.
is 21
Yes.
again.
Correct.
21 again.
This is true.
for the I don't know how many times.
Second time.
It's second
Second
time.
time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the second 21st birthday.
So you are 37.
Yes, that's how the
She's not
math
37.
works. Math checks out.
You're clearly not a mathematician.
And if you guys haven't, if you're new to the show, also check out my main channel, youtube.com/Timcast, because I'm really close to breaking 1 million subscribers.
He is.
So I'm definitely going to be pushing that.
He's very excited.
And you can also follow Timcast IRL.
Yes.
I'm really close to breaking 100,000 subscribers.
Ooh.
So I'm really excited about that. You can check out my past deep dives on Tesla and Donald J. Trump if you haven't checked that out yet. And I will be doing more. I haven't gotten to set up my studio yet because we are moving soon. And you could tell them
Yeah.
more.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be good.
I bring this up because someone mentioned in the chat that once I break 1 million subs, that I'll wear the MAGA beanie. And no.
No, that's
That's
not how
gonna
it works.
happen.
They like making up
They make
rules
stuff
for
up.
us.
I
And
know.
they're like, oh, you said this.
But I will mention my channel because
gaslighting.
you can go to timcast.net and and then it's the easiest way to do it. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm close. Joseph Kasky says, I'm a geologist working remotely in Alaska, live in Colorado. Inspired by you guys, reconsidering my career, and want to start interviewing people because I feel for people like the Cuban business owners in Louisville. Recommendation on interview equipment, camera, mic. I don't know.
This is the Shure
SM7B.
SM7B. All the big YouTubers
But
are
this is-
using it.
This is for podcasting.
yeah.
If you're gonna do like field reporting stuff,
Oh, okay, yeah.
you just
Good
get
point.
maybe like a Sony. What's that?
Just
camera
get a 4K.
Is that camera right there? What's that camera right there? Right there, the one that.
Oh yeah.
We got a camera right
This
here.
is the Sony.
It's getting all dusty.
Z-
RX
Where does it say
107.
it? Where does
Oh,
it
yeah.
say
It
it?
went with us to
Yeah,
California.
the RX 107.
Boom.
This
That's a
thing
good
is
one.
tiny.
It's good work.
I mean, it's not. You might want to get like a stand for it. One of those gimbal systems, so it's nice and smooth. But it's really small. It's actually quite heavy.
And it's got incredible audio.
oh really?
For real.
Just by
Yes.
itself?
Yes. And you got to be careful when holding it because it's got stereo sound. It's a really, really good camera. It can film at 960 frames per second with a special feature.
We
For-
are not sponsored by Sony. By
No,
the way.
we're not.
Not at
but
all,
But,
no.
all the cameras we use are actually Canon cameras. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me get my close up. Check this out. I just got my my Tom McDonald
Tim, do you want to zoom in?
HOG Hangover Gang.
He's not listening. There we go.
I am really stoked about my
Nice.
I
my
like
hoodie,
it.
my sweatshirt.
So Broadcast Dave says, this has to do with one of Jake Paul's associates. Look at the Drama Alert video in reference to Jake Paul being raided. So Drama Alert, that's Keemstar. You can check him out. He's probably got more details on exactly what happened with Jake Paul. Nikki Witch says, happy birthday, beautiful Lydia. Also, Hughes is a horrible person who said on video that she didn't care if she bankrupted Carl,
Dude, not
nor
nice.
nor that he has kids to feed. She did, yeah. And Sargon said, she said something, do I know that he has kids and do I care? She's like, of course I don't care, or something like that. Air Techie says most semi-auto long guns are not legal in California. The AR-15 in photo is enough to put you away for a long time in California.
Oh yeah.
By the way, spin that UFO for Lydia's birthday.
I'll
Nice.
spin it. I'm gonna go opposite.
Ooh.
I don't do that for just anyone.
Mixing it up. Yes.
Scooby Doopy says, happy birthday, Lydia. Love your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Harrison H says, did you see any of the Senate Judiciary questioning of Sally Yates today? Some of those questions, some of the questions was really intense about Obamagate. I watched a bit, but didn't really focus too much on it. The audio was really, really bad. And I just defer to the legal experts I follow because often the things they mention, I'm kind of like, I don't know what the legal ramifications of that are. So I follow a few lawyers who break it down.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of international research today because there's
China.
explosions.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
Fires.
explosion
Everywhere.
in China, in North Korea, Iraq. Well, fires in France. Albania is on fire. Man,
Dude.
the world is on fire.
What the heck?
It's crazy.
Gary Flanagan, in reference to Jake Paul's weapons being seized, he says, Tim, it is most likely because he is under investigation. When under investigation, weapons can be collected to be tested for use in criminal acts. Interesting.
All right.
Bo Talley says, every time I chat with a Biden supporter, I ask them, tell me why you support Biden without mentioning Trump. Every single time I get a deer in the headlights look. Adam, spin that UFO hard.
I'm going to spin it hard because that's so true.
Yeah.
Yep.
That their only
Without
answer is,
naming
I
Trump.
don't like Trump.
But that's their strategy, I guess. That's the strategy, man.
I mean,
Andrew says, hey, Tim, I saw you were looking at Safelite body armor. Don't. They are a bit shady when it comes to their certification rating, when it comes to effectiveness, RMA or HESCO, and avoid steel armor. Well, so this is actually really, really great. I love that you brought it up because I was looking at body armor, but I was looking at a ton of different companies. And because of this, so the ads that are popping up are all body armor companies now.
Yeah.
People notice.
Yes.
Someone emailed me like, "Oh, I see you're in the search for body armor." Tim. I was like, actually, that was a long time ago. You know, it just the gold thing that would pop up in a lot of ads.
Yeah.
Was a very long time ago as well.
And skate ramps.
I don't use this computer for anything for the most part. It's like a production computer.
Right.
So when these things pop up, it's because like at some point I Google search something. And the other thing you need to realize too is a lot of the ads that pop up are going to be research related. So it's like we're looking at a story and we'll look at something and all of a sudden the ads pop up. So, but yes, definitely looking at body armor. As most of you know, I have a bunch of guns now for the first time because times changed and now it's like you gotta, you know. And there is other news too. The SIG M400 that was sent by Crowder is actually, it's been specially modified. It is sitting at a shop. I cannot currently go pick it up, but once we relocate, they're going to send it to the new location we're at. So I can't get it yet.
Oh, really?
It's sitting at the shop
But they can send it to us in the new
at the new
spot?
location. So it
Nice.
would kind of make no sense to have them send it here when we're going to be relocating really, really soon.
Okay.
So I was like, man, it's going to be sitting there for a bit. Nothing I can do about it.
Oh, it's
but
not
they
gonna
did
go
send it, and
anywhere.
I'm excited. And special thank you to Crowder and the team for sending that weapon because apparently, like the shop was saying, they got a call and it was a big deal, and they were like, "We got to get this guy this SIG." It's
yeah,
gonna
like
be
the
fantastic.
owner of who makes it?
Sig Sauer.
Sig Sauer. I guess the owner called them, right? Is that what
They-
you said?
something about like a high level dude. Like
They're
they were like,
"Whoa."
"We gotta get this done. We gotta get this guy this weapon," and they're really excited about it. And it's too difficult to get right now.
Do you think that they can?
It's because of New Jersey's restrictions.
So
That's literally
maybe
it.
they can take it back and un-New Jerseyfy it, so it's more awesome.
No,
'Cause-
it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they added a muzzle brake or something,
Oh, okay.
which
okay.
I don't know what that means.
we'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll learn all about it.
Yeah. But basically, it's because of New Jersey's restrictions. It's very, very difficult to go pick up. Basically, it would take too long, and I have to go back and forth and deal with it. And I was like, "We're gonna relocate somewhere else," and they were like, "You got it. Don't worry about it, buddy." And I'm like, "Awesome." The guy says, "With everything going on, my wife agreed to us moving somewhere remote to start up a homestead.
Oh, cool.
We think it will be a healthier life for our daughter. What states would you homestead in? You three are welcome to come if it hits the fan." New Hampshire.
Montana,
Yeah.
Idaho, yeah. Wyoming, even.
I like
Colorado. South Colorado is really nice.
Yes.
New Hampshire state motto is live free or die.
I like that.
South
Yeah.
Dakota seems pretty awesome.
Yeah, South Dakota.
Their government seems like great. They've handled this COVID awesome.
Texas, I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna
Texas
say
is great.
Because what, like Elon Musk is moving there?
Yep. And Joe.
And
And
Joe
Steve
Rogan. Yeah, and Joe
Crowder.
Rogan.
Yeah.
And Crowder's down there. Wow.
Crowder's there, yeah.
Man. Well, we're going to a top secret facility in the middle of nowhere.
Top secret
Outer space.
facility.
We cut a deal with Elon. We're going to Mars.
Yep.
We're going to do the show from
We're
Mars.
gonna be the first.
Awesome.
We'll be the safest. Sean Patrick says, I wonder if the Democrats secretly want Trump to win. Once they lose their common enemy in Trump, the party will completely fracture.
Yep.
Also, tilt-a-whirl is the ride you're thinking of. HBD.
Tilt-a-whirl. But isn't that the thing that spins and then goes up and keeps spinning and then comes back
Yeah.
down?
And it rotates and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah.
But maybe that's also the one that was
It
from.
tilts and it whirls.
I think
I don't know.
I think the Democrats want Trump to win.
Yeah, you've been saying that too. Yeah, that they want him to win.
I've been leaning towards it, and I think it's because the only unifying thing the Democrats have, it's basically what Sean is saying,
yeah,
is Trump is bad.
Trump bad.
But I don't know. I don't. It's weird. They're not campaigning though.
No, they're not.
They're not knocking on doors.
Because
And they're
Biden's not going to be the choice.
Maybe.
So obvious.
But then will they be able to muster some kind of charismatic? At this point, it's 2020, man. We just had a major explosion in
All across
Lebanon.
the world.
Seriously.
Fires
Supposedly, it's the 4th largest.
explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, is this real? I mean, you got the 2 nukes that went off in Japan, and then I forget the 3rd largest one, but supposedly it's the 4th largest one. I don't know if that's really true though.
It's like 100 stories tall. It was huge.
So
Yeah.
Javik Macrat says, "Love your work, Tim. Get that MAGA beanie on." No, it'll be a begrudging vote when it comes to that point. But no MAGA beanies for me. Adam will be your MAGA beanie friend.
That's right.
I'm your MAGA beanie friend. I'm okay with that.
It's all right.
Samuel Eddy says, "The Earth King invites you to Lake Laogai."
I don't know what that is.
Laogai. It's from Avatar. So
Oh, okay.
when in the show, the city of Ba Sing Se
Uh-huh.
has a mandate that no one can mention there's a war going on.
Oh.
So when outsiders come in, they hypnotize them and they keep saying, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. So when the Democrats keep saying Antifa is a myth, there's no violence.
It's the same.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the meme.
Cool.
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting for sure. James DeGrees says, happy birthday, Lydia. Please use this to buy something you want.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Daniel Rafford says, Trump won in 2016 and will win again because the people are tired of the establishment. People can say what they will about his attitude, but his policies are strong and he's a bull in the establishment's China shop. Yes.
Yep.
There's a lot of bad things you can say about the guy.
Knocking
but
him out.
I've said this before. He's a bull who kicked in the doors of the ivory tower, and he's running around up top, and all these establishment people are going, oh, egad, and they're like, oh, and they're fainting. And if Biden
Clutching
wins,
their pearls. My goodness.
they're telling all the peasants, the bull is terrible. He's ruining everything. Get the bull out. And there are peasants who are going, okay.
But you use peasants, but like most of the people are like, we
It's
don't care about your China shop. We don't have a piece of that.
The people who brought the bull in.
Yeah.
But these progressive populists would be better served by Trump winning.
Yes.
To finally crush the establishment, and then the populist left has their opening.
And end trafficking.
If
Make
I'm
America
telling,
be
I'm saying,
solid.
man, if Biden wins, the far left will be crushed and marginalized, and they will never have another opportunity. That's why I think they would want Trump to win.
Yep.
Interestingly, however, there was this resistance high-profile guy who said these Antifa guys may as well wear Trump stickers or buttons because everything they're doing is helping him.
It's true.
And I'm like, And then he said it was I think Gary Kasparov is his name, something like that, the chess guy.
Yes.
He said the far left is afraid if Biden wins, they'll be marginalized because they're being used. But if Trump wins, then the establishment is gone, and that's their opportunity. So, for better or for worse, I'm surprised the far left isn't out there saying Trump is better than the establishment, to be honest. Maybe they don't want to admit it, but they do want him to win.
Can't bring themselves to say it.
Yeah. Akapot says, people are waking up to the 11th hour, yet it feels like 8, 12, 16 to me. Dems still have 95% of media. You give me hope, but YouTube main page shows Black Lives Matter videos with 7 million views. Truth is the minority. We forget Trump lost by 3 million popular votes. Now voter fraud, don't give up. I wonder what the live stream numbers for YouTube, what good numbers are. Let me just be completely honest and without feigning any, I don't know, whatever. Look, we've got right now 48,758 people watching.
Woo.
This is more than some of the largest shows I've been on and have seen before. And this is consistent. So we've been hitting these numbers a lot, and I was thinking about it.
Wait, hold on. Before you move on, I just want to say that's because we have the best chat and the best fans.
Yep.
All right, you can continue, please.
Yes.
But
Just had to say
to
that.
all of you who are watching, seriously, thank you all so much. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, How can there be these shows from these progressive channels that can't break a couple thousand views after years of doing it? And we're on month 5, and we're consistently getting 40 to 50,000 viewers live on YouTube.
I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the certain beanie I'm wearing.
Oh yeah, as soon as you wear the beanie, it's magic.
No one cared who we were.
No,
until
but
we put on
listen.
the beanie.
What it says to me is that perhaps the silent majority is real.
Definitely. Yep. They absolutely are.
You know, Akapot mentions Black Lives Matter videos with 7 million views, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. I think we get like a couple 100,000 to 300,000 total podcast listens for the full shows, and then we're actually doing really, really well with the clips. So we're actually getting like 1 million views a day on all this content. Maybe that million views is substantially more than 7 million on one video, right?
It's a good point.
I would say so.
So maybe that's something to be hopeful about. Keeping this in mind, for all of you who are watching, this is exactly the reason you can look around and see you're not alone. And that's why I feel that way too. And I'm like, wow, this many people care about the positions we're in. I'm clearly here. Listen, I'm clearly here saying I don't like Trump, and you're clearly here saying you do like Trump.
Definitely.
We're both talking about why. For me, it's a
why we're both going to vote for him.
You're loving it, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm gonna go in there and be like, fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But this, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Well, you also got to take into mind, we talked about this yesterday. Most people are busy working. Most people are busy not sitting on the internet, not sitting on YouTube. They're taking care of their families. They're taking care of their responsibilities. And the people on the left have no responsibilities. They don't want responsibilities. They're sitting on the internet wallowing in their victimhood. That's why I see that video getting 7 million views.
Right.
Because it's being shared and watched over and over, and they're sitting in that anger, and they're like, I'm so mad at Trump. And it's like, you have no idea what's really going on in the world, because that's the only thing you sit and dwell on.
The other thing is, I think too, is a lot of these people, well, it's basically, I'm just adding to what you just said.
Yeah. Because
they have nothing to lose, they can quit their jobs.
Yep.
And that gives them pressure on industry. So they'll go to their boss and say, I'm quitting because I want this. And they'll go, no, we'll do what you say. The dude who's got a family, kids, who's got responsibility, he's going to be like, I can't quit.
Yeah.
And that creates a huge disadvantage. But they'll vote. And they will vote. Cigar Panda, thanks for the super chat. Deus Flex says, I live in Japan and I find it amusing how Western media went from shaming the Japanese for not locking down to holding up as a gold standard for wearing masks, despite last month having the largest outbreak in cases since the pandemic began. I know, I saw that. I thought it was hilarious. Nothing makes sense. Sweden never locked down, right?
Never did.
And they're fine.
No masks. Schools there. Everything's dropping down to nothing.
We should be more like Sweden.
Sure should.
Well, they said that for a while, and now they're like, well, you can't really compare, and it's like, well, we can compare an individual state to Sweden, and when you do that, it still looks bad. Like we are not doing it right.
When they were like, we should do healthcare like Sweden does, and then all of the moderates, conservatives, and just rational people were like, yeah, but there's 9 million people in Sweden. So basically, and they export weapons. They have a strong export. Like one of the largest weapons exporters per capita.
That's how they stayed neutral in World War II.
That's right.
Giving guns to people. So we have 330 million people. We can't do it as easily.
Right.
Now that Sweden's doing really, really well, they pick up that, Sweden is much smaller. Yeah. Okay.
Spare me. Kaleem Mim says, I was only going to vote Libertarian, but after what Joe said, I changed my mind. And during COVID, my perspective of Trump changed when he defended the businesses while governors and mayors was hurting them. Even though I live in Boston, we're doing good. I'm going for Trump. Thank you, Kaleem.
Awesome.
We could be in our own bubble,
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, man. I've been on some pretty big shows. And for us to be consistently getting like upwards of 50 or more thousand viewers, that to me was like,
love you guys.
We like, look, over the past several months, it's just been a dramatic increase in the people watching. And that gives me hope that the ideas I have, the things I think, other people think the same things.
Yep.
Not completely, but the idea is the sentiment. So I'll talk about news and stuff. We talk about the show, how we feel. And there are a lot of people saying, man, I totally get it.
Yep.
And I want to, tell me more. If we weren't getting any views at all, I'd be like, we must be wrong about something. Maybe it could be that we've just found a small bubble that's, sitting in a big circle, patting each other on the back. But I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't.
I think this is
don't.
what the majority of people think.
I think when you look at the Gallup poll, which says 81% of black Americans want the same amount of police or more, that says it right there.
Yeah, that's huge.
Defund the police narrative is a lie. The abolish the police narrative is a lie. These are extremists, and the Democrats aren't standing up to them.
And most Black Lives Matter movements, you can see, it's like 80 and 90% privileged white liberal people.
I noticed that
like
in
from the
Louisville.
suburbs.
Yeah.
from the
Yep.
suburbs.
Yeah.
Like you guys, what are you doing? Then they're the ones throwing the bricks. It makes no sense. They're
guilty.
being so virtuous behind a virtuous movement while trying to rip down the system.
Well, Josh P. just said, Tim, you are a pawn of Trump. Explain yourself. I resend my time. And happy birthday, Lydia.
Thank you.
So I'm assuming it's meant to be a bit of a joke, but I will explain myself. The Democrats just repealed civil rights legislation in California, voted to at the state level and at the Assembly and the Senate. And I didn't believe it when I heard it. And then I checked, and they did. And then I asked my friend and said, help, help. The Democrats are trying to take away civil rights. And they said, but it's a good thing. And I went, what? And I said, how is it that the progressives, Bernie Sanders, fought for this legislation, and now Bernie Sanders is on the side of people who are taking it away? That to me right there was like, I'm done. I'm sorry, man. I can't allow a political party to maintain power when their active goal is to strip civil rights from people. The left will say the same thing and they'll say like, we're going to remove these civil rights protections under the guise of ensuring civil rights. This is what I said to a friend of mine. They told me, but Tim, if we repeal the civil rights law, which prevents discrimination, then we can have affirmative action and help minorities. And I said, okay, let me ask you a question. Do you realize that a large portion of California outside the cities is conservative, right? Yes. You realize that a large portion of the counties outside of, LA, San Francisco, and, San Diego are mostly white, right? Yes. Okay. Do you think that those people are racist? Some of them, yeah. Okay. Do you think some of those racists work in government? Yes. Do you think they will be emboldened to be racist and discriminate against minorities now that you've given them the power? Well, I guess. Then why would you give them the power? But I mean, I guess. I'm like, right. Now, personally, I don't think Republicans are going to start putting up signs that say white people only or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But if these progressives truly believe that's the world that exists, why would you vote to repeal these laws that would allow someone to put up a sign saying only white people allowed in this city, in the government, in the police?
They don't believe it.
It makes no sense. The bill would allow the police to only be one race. So you get an area that's predominantly one race. You are ending diversity. They don't get it. That to me is these people have lost their minds. Matthew Lincoln says, Lydia, there's a tradition where I come from. When it's your birthday, you have to go on a date with me.
Oh, is that the tradition? Huh, interesting. Good to know.
Joseph Pardon says, hey, Tim, you got shouted out by Don Jr. Someone posted it on the Reddit. Give it a look. A shout out?
You got a retweet, I know.
Well, he's retweeted me a bunch, but a shout out, that's different.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me check.
Did he?
Who shouted you out? Sorry, I was reading.
Trump Jr.?
I'm reading about this
he's
Twitter locked out President Trump.
The campaign.
People have been they've been hitting us up in chat, and I just wanted to see what is going on. And I guess it seems like the campaign, because they talked about hydroxychloroquine or something.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They want him to take it down.
Yeah.
The Trump campaign?
It's not it's not Trump's account.
It's
it's Team
account.
Trump. Campaign account.
Think about how insane it is that Trump is the president who created the task force, who is the one to that's.
It's because it's $3,000 a pill. They want everyone to have to take this $3,000 vaccine when hydroxychloroquine is like 20 cents. Well, it's like $2 or something.
Well, look.
But still, if it works, it works.
But maybe it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
That's not the point. The point is, if the president wants to speak to the American people and say, here's what I recommend as the president, who is Twitter to shut it down? That to me is insane.
This is news guarded too from American Military News.
That the campaign was shut out?
Twitter bans Trump campaign from tweeting until it removes misinformation in quotes on coronavirus.
Wow,
That's what it says. That's nuts.
Think about what happens next when the CDC, under pressure from its employees, 12% of whom demanded that racism be declared a national public health crisis, and then all of a sudden Trump says something like Black Lives Matter is a Marxist group. They say, we're not going to let you tweet until you remove dangerous misinformation because racism is a public health crisis. Saying these naughty things about Black Lives Matter is a violation of people's health and safety. Mm-hmm. That's where it's coming.
Morality policing. That's what you've been saying.
And this is why I'm really angry with Republicans, because they had from 2016 to 2018, they could have ended this, but they didn't, because they're dumb and they didn't care, and a lot of them retired. And I'm not confident they'll actually do it, because what we need is, you know what? There's 8 Republicans who agreed with withdrawing our forces from Afghanistan. 8, and 3 Democrats. Wow, we need a lot more than that.
Sad.
Yep, sad.
To quote a great man.
Oh man, but we'll see, I guess. Ryan Yeager says, new to Tim Pool guy. Guy is so awesome. MSM is trash, and I'm glad people are starting to realize it. HBD Lydia. Is it happy birthday?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent us this really cool.
Oh, sweet.
I got a white
got a
sweatshirt.
white shirt. There you go.
Check this out. So it's one of those things you stab into a tree. I'm not gonna stab my hand.
Stab.
So then you can see it. It's
so
a cool
cute.
owl. Shiny.
I like it.
Yeah. So thanks
Right
for
on.
sending me
Yeah,
that.
thanks. Those are super
There's
cool.
a couple other things but that's my favorite out of that group.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday, right?
It is.
I don't even
It is
know
Wednesday,
anymore.
my
Today's
dude.
Wednesday.
I just go with the flow.
So it is now past 10 o'clock,
Ew,
which
indeed.
is it's our time to go relax, go to bed. I wake up again at 7 a.m. to get back to work, so I just work all day nonstop every day.
I salute my beanie to all of you for hanging out with us.
Thank you all so much for smashing that like button. We're about to hit 40,000, which is, I think, is the
Whoa.
most we'll have ever had in a
40,000. Come on, let's do it for Lydia's birthday.
Yes.
Smash that like button
Best
before you
gift ever.
leave.
Thank you.
For Lydia's birthday, 40K.
Don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Timcast. You can follow at Adam Krigler in the same places. And of course, it's Lydia's birthday, so go and follow at Sour Patch Lids. That's at Sour Patch LYDS on Twitter and Parler as a birthday present.
Yes, thank you.
Smash that like button. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. live.
Yes, we will.
With all the latest news and fun. Fridays are our jam night, but also, if you don't know this, and I'm sure most of you do, but for those that don't, check out timcast.net. That'll bring you to my main channel, and I am very, very close to breaking 1 million subs, so I'm going to be pushing
Let's help
that.
him break 1 million.
Break 1 million subscribers. If everybody here went and subscribed, I'd be over 1 million.
Or you can just share this show to everyone and get us to 1 million first, so our show could be
Yes.
his show.
I'm like 50, 60 something thousand subs to breaking 1 million on my main
catching
channel.
up.
Hey, I'm an optimist, all right?
But check it out.
I'm an optimist.
This is crazy. Look, guys, the metric on the show has
41K.
Been, wow.
That
Yeah,
was for
dude,
you,
that was
Lydia.
so fast.
That
Thank
was
you,
all happy.
guys.
Chat, you guys are
Happy
the
birthday.
best.
Aw, they're so
You guys are the
sweet.
best. Man, our people that come and watch us, seriously, you guys are awesome.
They're so nice.
Yeah, wow. You know what's crazy?
42K. Oh my gosh. You guys are
Let me praise all of these people watching. I've done a lot of live streams in the past.
Wow.
I've been on other people's shows, and there's always so much just insults and stupidity,
Yeah.
and this is like
Not here.
our chat's usually hilarious. And
They're awesome. I love
Yeah.
reading the chat. I love it. I
Funny
I
jokes
interact
and-
as much as I can, but I obviously have to pay attention
it is a
with
special
this guy's brain
40
or his beanie. I don't know.
42,500 like
thing.
birthday for Lydia.
Dang, thank you so
Thank
much.
you all
guys.
so much for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and
Wow.
we will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. live. And throughout the day, we will have clips up. We will have clips up from the show. So for those of you that don't make it for the live show, we have clips throughout the day. And the show audio version is up on all podcast platforms where you can check it out. And we'll see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out.
Good night,
guys.
everybody.